All right, welcome to the Sae Bae cast number 179 with Reed. Reed, how are we doing today?
Oh, dude, I'm pretty good. I'm definitely a little nervous, but overall, I'm feeling great. I've been a big fan of yours for years, so I'm very happy to get to come on today.
I've been a bigger fan of yours for
No
longer, actually,
way.
because I started watching you as a content creator well, for those that actually listened to the Orlando cast, the based Orlando cast, you were on it for a little bit. We were all a little bit fucked up, and it was just kind of a mess of of like an organized like whole podcast thing. But we did talk about a little bit of that. How I was watching you as you were formerly known as Zack Badass.
Yeah.
And those were some special times, man. Like real talk, like back in the day. I don't know when this was. Maybe like when was this? 2017.
2017, like early to mid 2017, I would say. So, I mean, 7 fucking years ago, man. Over 7 years ago.
That is so crazy, dude.
Yeah, it's a trip to think about, man.
And you were in. Okay, so let me just like rewind the tape a little bit, just for those maybe that are like not as like just haven't been in the old school scene as long. So I started old school in 2015, like September ish. And I mean, just complete noob. Like seriously, because the it's not like I was playing RS3 this whole time. I was just straight up like it was like okay, so I played from 2004 to 2007, and you know, I was still a child, so I quit for 8 years and
Yeah.
came back. And so I still had this child mentality toward the game, like complete mystery. Everything was just so fascinating. And, I
Yeah.
grew up quick but I remember just being really obsessed with one. I was obsessed with skillers. I was obsessed with like like the players that took the game super, super seriously. Like
Yeah.
the
Like
fir-
Automology, yeah.
yeah. The first streamer actually I ever watched was Randalicious on Twitch,
Oh
and
yeah. Oh
and
yeah. What is
he
it? Space Salt, or was that his name? Or I think
um
that was just another guy that was in Hexers
yeah,
with
that
him
must have
actually.
been another guy, but he had rank 2 in his title, so
Yeah.
he was rank 2 at the time, and I was just like so fascinated with it. But I was also fascinated later down the line with high level PvMers, people that were just crazy good at the game.
Yeah.
I didn't even know you could be good at PVM. I just like at that point in the game where I had originally started, I just thought it was click the cow, click the man, and like he'll die eventually, or you'll die. That's kind of the extent of it. But yeah, your stream, along with several others, were just amazing to watch because at that time it was like PVM. It was still had some mystery behind it. The tick system wasn't
Yeah.
fully published. It was knowledge that could be obtained, but it wasn't common knowledge. The whole tick
Yeah.
system. So I want
Yeah.
to I want to hear your like whole story on just getting good at PVM and what your whole like journey was in becoming, at least as the community saw, like one of the greatest PVMers of that era.
Yeah. Wow, what a trip to that's such a trip to even hear that sentence. But because I mean I'm sitting here doing agility right now and I die every time I go into the solo chambers. But man, I mean I started like anybody else. And at the time when I started, that's what PVM was. It was click the boss and like walk away from Bandos every once in a while. And you're probably not even getting like 2-to-1 hits when you're doing that. Whenever I watch people do that method. And I remember I was doing duo Bandos with my brother, and we were awful. We were getting like 6 kill trips in duos, and I was like, what if I could do better than this? And so I think I started by doing kind of the tank method that most people do, where you attack the boss twice and then you step under and you're doing 2 hits for 1 hit to him. But then I would start praying mage kind of as I would walk underneath, and then I could wear all tank gear. And then it just kind of like over the course of a couple months, I stopped going with my brother. I started doing solos. And it got to the point where I was flicking all 3 at Bandos. But I think Bandos was the first boss that I really started to understand the game on a different level. And I think that's where it kind of everything took off for me. Like I started to understand the tick system. I started to understand what I could do with this game. And it wasn't all of a sudden, it wasn't this simple game anymore. It was incredibly complex.
Yeah, that I mean, just to soloing Bandos first off was insane. I mean, it just I was playing after Iron Man mode had released,
Yeah.
and I mean, seriously, as an Iron Man, you're like, what the fuck? Like, I'm supposed to go to God Wars dungeon and try to solo this shit? Like, hell no.
Yeah.
Like, this is so insane. And so you're just loading up with sharks and just praying to God that you can get your kill with your D-Sim or your whip at the time. I mean, if you had a whip on an Iron Man at that time, like you were balling out.
You were God. Yeah.
Yeah, and there was no Dragon Warhammer, so you're just like going in there like, okay, pray, just do the Mr. Mammal method, attack twice, step under, like just come on.
Funny story. The first time I learned Bandos was from watching a Mr. Mammal video.
Yeah,
I watched it with
same.
my brother, and then we went there and did duo. And I have the record now, or the solo in one trip record, whatever it is. I don't know if there are really any other records there that people care about, but I think that's kind of cool that like I literally learned Bandos from Mr. Mammal.
Dude, I learned so many things from Mr. Mammal. Mr. Mammal was like the OG guide producer. Like that's how I got my fire cave, Italy Rock and everything, and just following his steps.
Yeah. No, me too. I forgot about that. Holy shit, man.
Really? So wait, so let me ask you: is all this experience from old school, or did you have prior PvM experience, at least a little bit in pre-old school?
Very little, man. Very little. Like I remember being, I don't know, I was probably like 8 or 10, rough timeline, right? And I was in my gear at Bandos, and I was sitting there attacking the boss, and there were so many people at God Wars back in those days, so it didn't matter that much. But I remember I was praying mage and really confused why I was just getting destroyed by Grardor, man. And so I really had no idea what I was doing. And when I came back, I don't think it helped me much, except for kind of that nostalgia. I wanted to get to God Wars because that was kind of where I had left off whenever everything went to shit with RS3.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so it really was like you just learned everything from old school to ground up. And when did you start streaming?
God,
and why did you choose to?
I don't know the actual answer for that. The story of how I started streaming is really funny and embarrassing though, because I just started playing with Cloud Badass, and we're all cool now. I'm more than willing to discuss any part of that story if you want, Sater. But so I told him that I wanted to stream. I can't remember why I wanted to do it. I think I just wanted friends or something. I don't know. But I told him I wanted to stream, and he was like, "Yeah, but nobody knows that we share the account." And I was like, "Yeah, so I'm not sure what to do about that. Maybe I should like stream on an Iron Man or something." And he was like, "No, it's fine. You just stream on my Twitch account and tell people you're me." And I was like, I was like, dude, I don't want to do that. That sounds awful. Like one, I'm very uncomfortable when I have to lie. Two, I'm awful at it. So I was just like, yeah, and I'm not even British, dude. Like his friends started coming into the stream. I was flicking Sarah Dahmen, doing the methods that I had kind of come up with. And his friends started coming into the stream. One of his friends, Lena, who's actually a good friend of mine now, she was like, "You are not Corey." And I started panicking. He told me just to double down, and so I just lied. I hated it. I hated every second of it.
I didn't even know this part. I'll be honest, because
I ended up ending the stream, dude. I was so embarrassed and scared, and then I sat in bed having an anxiety attack for 8 hours. I was like, everybody's gonna hate me,
There's just a glimmer of that story that I can kind of vaguely remember of. Me thinking you two were the same people.
Yeah.
That is interesting. So was it just for that first stream you were pretending, or did that go on for a while?
No, it was that first. I told him I hated it, and then Lena called me out, and I was like, I'm never doing that again. I hated that. And I can't remember kind of what happened after that. I think there was a bit of a lull, and then he decided to kind of come out with us sharing the account, which that's not a big deal right now. In 2017. That it was quite controversial that we played the account together. Yeah, nobody cares about that now, but it was quite controversial.
That is wild to think, dude.
Right? Yeah.
Man. I was talking about this just maybe it was on a stream or something. Yeah, it must have been on a stream. Somebody said they were listening back to the old BC Guppy casts that were 3.5 years old at this point, and just discussing little things that we forget. There was taboo things to talk about almost, or just the way we saw integrity in the game has just completely, and that's only in 3.5 years. So looking back at 2017 and longer ago, dude, it's wild. I always bring up the example of when they originally when old school came out, you could not click your scroll wheel on the mouse to rotate your camera, and they pulled it and it failed. because that was like breaking integrity. Basically, it was like, no, keep it old school, keep it old school. Like, Jesus Christ, dude, we've come a long way.
Well, I mean, there used to like not be XP drops. I mean, there's all sorts of changes that I think are great changes for the game. But you know, I used to be one of those guys who was like, don't change the game in any way, shape, or form.
No, I think I mean, majority of the community did feel that way. It's just been a shift in the community, and a lot. I mean, obviously, we've had a lot of the community leave over time. You know, whether we just burn out, quit entirely, or they just don't even care anymore. But no, you were like everybody else. I was the same way. I mean, I even joined late, and I felt that sort of like, okay, keep old school, old school. I still feel like we have that spirit, but it's just, we've like, I don't know, we're a bit more enlightened, I feel like, whether that's for our own good or bad, we'll see in the next decade, but we'll see.
Yeah, if it lasts that long, we'll see. I hope so, man. My hope is that if this game ever goes under, they release just like a one-time purchase, a local download, just so I can keep playing my Iron Man forever. I pay like a couple $100 for that, dude. You know, like if it ever goes under, they could make some serious money doing that.
Oh yeah, dude. I mean, the best part about a downloadable game that's like offline would just be zero ping, ping, bro. Can you imagine everywhere?
I had never even thought of that.
Just how glorious that would be. I mean, I personally, I've said this before. I think RuneScape as an MMO, it really is. I feel like the reason people play as much as they do is because of the flex. Don't get me wrong, the game is still fun enough to play without flexing anybody, but I feel like the community aspect and knowing that there's an official server that you can flex your items and your pets and whatever.
Yeah, when you've got stuff like GM and all that now, right? Which they are big flexes, right? The Infernal, I think the flexing kind of started with the Infernal cape, right?
No, I think flex, well, in regards to PvM, maybe Fire Cape even was earlier, but there was always flexing with 99s. Even if you could get a 99, like, why would you have grinded for 99 fire making pre-Winter Todd if it wasn't for the flex, like, of just being like, bro, look at my cape, look at my motherfucking cape back there. I had lit lines for God knows how long. I have, you know, I'm a beast. Dude, I remember respecting deeply people that had 99 fire making capes. They were so rare. They were the rarest. I want to say they were the rarest 99 capes. They might have been tied or something, or maybe just slightly under, like, rune crafting.
I don't know, but that just sounds wrong. I don't know though. It just sounds
dude.
Wrong.
No,
fire making?
Dude, I remember going for 99 fire making back in early 2016. This is pre-Winter Todd. The Winter Todd came out later that year.
Yeah, no, I get you.
And dude, I remember looking. I think there was like 8,000 total people that had 99 fire making at that time. Something around there. That was a little bit.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like, I remember really going for that. Winter Todd came out, and then everything just got devalued. I'm like, okay, I don't care about this anymore. This is stupid.
At what point do you think that you stopped caring?
I mean, just right when Winter Todd came out for that specifically.
I mean, just in general. I mean, you still care a little bit about integrity, but at what point do you think that kind of stopped happening so much? As far as, you know, we were talking about how much me and you used to care about the game.
No, it's been a very, very slow transition.
Yeah.
And because I still do care about it. Even late last year, I was having, you know, my own butt hurtness and just my rambles, throwing fits about a lot of, I mean, Scar Essence mine, Duke mining. I would still have a problem with that. If somebody were to come out with, hey, we have this new, just sleep overnight and get 60k mining XP every night for just.
Oh no, I don't like that.
Yeah. There's things that are just going way too far. But in regards to quality of life specifically, I am 100% on board. And I think the biggest reason that's changed for me is Rune Light. Just the addition of Rune Light, just going crazy.
And back in the day, I was anti-client. I used Conduit because it was better than Jack's Launcher. But the only thing that I used it for, at least, was Boss Timer, just for God Wars, and that was the only plugin that I had.
Yeah, I mean, there was no such thing as tile markers, I feel like. Maybe there was, but nobody used them. I don't even think there was. I was surprised when I heard about them. I mean, we were, when Inferno came out, we were dropping vials on the ground. We were turning off our vial smasher so that we could drop vials on the ground. There wasn't even vial smasher, I don't think.
Oh, maybe I'm wrong.
You just
well, this
drop
was when
them,
I was
yeah.
going for the Infernal then.
Okay.
On the hardcore. But yeah, like I turned the Vial Smasher off so that I could be dropping the vials, and I'd pull like soul runes out and stuff so that I would know what tiles to stand on. But I don't know if tile markers are good or bad for the game. Personally, I really like them if they're not like overdone. But I think ultimately probably bad for the game.
It is okay. So what has helped me kind of stay sane somewhat is just not caring as much about, like, I'm not in that super tight just group of super intense PVMers that take the game like super far. So I'm kind of like distanced from all that, but I can definitely see myself getting triggered over how crazy, like, for example, TOB has become. You see people running Theater of Blood, and it's just, bro, I mean, the whole game is just completely, like, the plugins are unreal. You just look at Nilo Room. You don't even have to like really focus because all the crabs are being deleted, so they're just visibly they're gone before. Not even when they've died, but pre-death.
Oh, the entity hider. Yes.
No, but it's like beforehand. It's like it will calculate. Okay, did you just KO this? Okay, we're gonna make it disappear 2 ticks before it would have actually died. Yeah,
that's insane.
Like that kind of shit is wild. And I don't really have a full stance on it because ultimately, my ultimate stance is like, what is fun? And I try to just remain somewhat distance behind, like, caring that much if somebody's getting an advantage over me. It's like, I do care. I know I am that person that would care about that, but I've distanced myself enough that I just don't think about it often.
It's interesting you say that because I think I'm kind of the same way. I mean, I used to be very tight knit in the PvM community, and I'm not really a part of that anymore. I'm not, as far as skill level as well as far as like community. And I think that might be one of the reasons that I don't care so much, is I'm not surrounded by the people that do care about that type of stuff.
Totally. You know what's wild is looking at people. I mean, you see somebody going into Theater of Blood for the first time to learn it. And they have the shittiest gear, most likely, and they have no plugins. And they are just struggling beyond belief to try to get this thing done, even with, like, you know, some good teammates. And then you see just the stark difference between going into somebody who's ran Theater of Blood 2,000 times, has max gear, has every fucking plugin enabled, so everything has just become a breeze. Every timer's there, every entity hider's there. You can prioritize your clicks are better. Your whole your Zarpus is all set up perfectly. Like, it is actually wild to just see, not even just skill based, but just the amount of plugins that have helped like ease the difficulty when it comes to just getting into Theater of Blood. But I don't know if it's a problem. I don't know. I don't really have these discussions, honestly, that often. Maybe it's because I just lack bringing on PVMers that really, really care about this and they want to talk about it. But
yeah, no, that's fair.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting though. That so let me ask you. You know, we're both distanced from what is considered the tight knit sort of like high level PVM community. But are there plugins specifically that you are like really against right now?
As far as like other people using them,
just plugins. And if you just have a problem with a plugin, this should not be a part of the game, basically.
I think radius markers are kind of crazy.
They are,
there's
aren't they?
A lot going on there.
Yeah.
My buddy told me to turn them on. I turned them on within like 30 seconds. It was awful. There was so much shit on my screen. I don't want to play the game, you know? Like, I'm okay with like my agility boxes being lit up or whatever. That makes life a little easier. But like when the game's telling you everything to do, I think the Watchdog plugin probably is not good. But here's the other part. I used it when I got my quiver. So I kind of just don't care enough anymore. You know, if it's going to benefit me and if it's being used, you know, if it's okay to use, then I'm probably going to use it. It's the ones that I don't use. It's by choice, just because I don't like them, not because they're like I think they're too OP. There's too much going on my screen.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep, I agree. And then there is that little element of me that's like, if I am, I really try to
There's
like,
a little bit of ego there too.
yeah,
I won't lie. I won't lie.
There is ego on my end too, because
I've got some ego there.
and that's why I have to distance myself, because I know I'd get frustrated over this kind of stuff. Like radius markers is the perfect example of, there is skill to necks, for example. There is some element of skill, and when you have every single thing marked out visually for you because of these plugins that are great, you have a great advantage using all this kind of stuff.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's like, it's just a radius marker. Like you could, visually kind of do it yourself if you're like a gigabrain enough, sort of. But yeah, no, that's a serious advantage. And I don't know, you just get to the point where you stacked on so many serious advantages that it's just, I don't know. It would
I think one of the things that these plugins do is they kind of bring that skill gap a little closer. Even with like doing math, like some people aren't very good at math. That's like a reality. Some people who are PvMers are great at math or whatever, but they might not like be able to add up whether or not that they killed that boss. And then obviously like it has different HP depending on what team you're in. So I think it does require like some processing there. I think it makes it more accessible for all people to be able to do PvM at a high level. I'm still not kind of a fan of it. Like I think there's a reason like some people are going to be better at PvM than others. And that's how much time they put into it. I think it's the biggest part. And then, I think there's some, basic like aptitudes and stuff like that. But
one thing I will say is what is cool and what I actually like is there's kind of like this turning point that has happened over the last couple of years where people deeply respect people that don't use plugins for PvM or use the bare minimum. And this is kind of weird, but an example I bring up that's not of RuneScape is kind of like the whole, I don't know, you think back like 10 years ago with fitness influencers just being jacked on steroids, they're all using steroids, which is what I'm going to be using as like plugins basically for RuneScape. So these people are just jacked up on steroids, but you're just like, wow, you're an incredible PvMer. But ultimately now we've swung the other way where you see a guy on steroids on like a social media post, you click on the comments and every guy's like, just, you're juiced, bro, like fucking cheater, like you're on drugs, like this ain't healthy, bro. And it's funny because you just look back just half a decade ago or something, and nobody was talking about people being on drugs in the comments. They were just like, you're a god, like you're Hercules, bro. But
literally, they thought that they were Zeus or whatever the fuck. And they wanted to be like them, right? And I'm not a big fan of those influencers. I mean, one thing I actually wanted to bring up is your fitness journey. I don't know if you talk much about that on this podcast. I'm gonna be honest, Sater, I don't like watch this podcast very often. I've watched here and there,
dude. I don't watch my I don't watch my podcast at all. So you're with me, bro. You're with me, bro. No, you're totally good.
Dude, if I had my own podcast, I couldn't listen to it back. I don't like the sound of my own voice. I don't know how much of this one I'll be watching. So
I'll answer your question after I just that point on can't be listening to it back. People want me so desperately to timestamp a lot of these podcasts, and it's so painful for me because I have to go back to a podcast I just lived, and now I have to go and listen to myself and try to like map out some sort of sectioning, and I'm like, dear God, I can't listen to this back right now. It's so
but you do that though. Like I've seen, like I know on Bodhi's, that's one I watched. I had an honorable mention in that. But like I was timestamped in there when you guys talked about
I'll do
the change in player skill.
I'll do it here and there, but it is painful for me. But to answer your question, I first of all, the fitness journey. I mean, because you're fit as well. I mean, maybe you're not in like your peak, shape. Like
I'm so far from it. I'll tell you after, but I just got back into it, so I'm pretty excited.
But I mean, you're still a healthy dude. Like we literally just met a couple years ago, so I feel like naturally you just care for your body enough to exercise and stuff, even if you're not going to just be like, okay, I'm going like full on hard mode right now. But
and I don't have it in me to do that anymore. I want to be healthy. I want to feel good. I don't want to hurt so bad. So I stretch, all that type of stuff, and I walk and like low impact stuff.
And that is what just comes with time. I feel like you just get to a certain age where you're like, I just want to feel good. I just want to be healthy. I don't want to ache. I don't want to feel disgusting.
I think it's when you start hurting. I'm 27, and so I'm maybe a little early, but I wake up every morning and I hurt, man. It's like I literally, my massage gun just came in, and I was just like going to town on my neck right before this call. That's why I was a little late. Sorry about that.
No. I was late too. You're good. No, but you're right. Like for me, I don't know how early who were watching my stream, but I was not healthy. Like, I wasn't obese by any means, but I was pushing overweight, and it was just lack of exercise, lack of moving, lack of strength training, lack of proper nutrition. And part of it was just, RuneScape addiction.
Yeah.
But the other part was like just not seeing the value in being healthy. Because at that time, when you're so young, I was like, 23, 24. It's just like, whatever. I feel good. I'll just eat a fucking pizza, drink a bunch of soda. Like, I'll feel good in the morning.
Invincible, right?
You're just like, whatever. But and then you hit a point where you actually want to start looking good. So it has that kind of vanity to it. But that's simply because you're just like, oh shit, I'm still single, and I'm I'm not really the most attracting kind of person.
Oh, you're super handsome, Sater. No, I don't know. It's like, I think that's kind of how it will usually start, is you want to look good, right? It doesn't really matter. It's nice to look good. It's like, I enjoy looking and feeling good, but it's like, for me now, it's about how I feel. Like I think once I realized all the benefits of starting to get healthy, and I'm not saying like you have to think about your health all the time, but like, go for a walk now and again, stretch, drink water, and try and eat better. And like, you wake up and just don't feel so bad all the time.
Yep.
And that changed for me is the reason that I decided to get back into it, as well as going to Orlando and seeing everybody there. I got really motivated when I got back, which is kind of cool to me. I've been going to the gym every day for the past, 3 weeks ago is when we parted ways or something like that.
That's
about 3
crazy.
weeks ago.
It's already been 3 weeks almost.
I know. Yeah.
I guess almost 3 weeks, but yeah, damn.
Yeah, it's getting there.
Yeah, no, it's just consistency as well. Like for me, it wasn't all at once. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna start, just going super health mode. No, it just started off with, okay, let me just eat a little bit less to lose some of this extra fat. Let me start going on walks. I know walks are good for me, but I didn't know how good walks were. If you walk consistently and you have some fat to lose, dude, that shit melts off of you. Like,
especially
so
like, on like an empty stomach as well. You burn that glycogen in your muscles up.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But I wanted to say this. I never noticed you being overweight or anything, or like, I never looked at you and thought you looked unhealthy.
I was definitely unhealthy, but I didn't look horrible. I was just a little bit chubby and just soft and just like didn't really. Yeah, you know what? One of my problems was, I think I've probably mentioned this maybe a couple times ever in the last 100 and almost 80 podcasts, but I was getting like leg swelling. Like ankle swelling.
From how much you were sitting down?
Yeah, so much sitting.
Holy shit.
And not enough blood circulation. It wasn't like horrible, but there would be times, and again, it comes with diet too. You just eat a full fucking large pizza and you sit down for the next 8 hours. Like,
all that sodium as well.
Yeah, you're gonna just your legs are gonna fill up. And I remember like, damn, like that was like the first really noticeable sign of, I'm like, holy crap, like I'm not.
That was your wake up call, right?
Yeah, it was like a minor wake up call. Like, holy crap! Like I've seen people walking around with these fat ankles, and that looks disgusting. And it's not good.
That's a little scary to watch your body do something like that, right?
It is.
Like that's a little fucking scary. So I can imagine that'd be like a wake up call,
Yeah.
And even if like you didn't have any fat to lose, it's just the sitting around being sedentary all day.
Yeah, exactly.
And I don't know, like I don't want to be going and doing marathons. That's not what I want to do. But I want to be able to like walk up the stairs and like feel good afterwards. I don't know. I just want to be able to like exist in a comfortable way where I'm not hurting all the time. Like I don't have to have an 8-pack for the rest of my life. That's not going to happen. It's not feasible.
Now,
I can have some realistic goals.
Did you like lift before? Like, what was your fitness journey like? Because you're 27 now and you just care about, staying healthy, but did you have a time where you were focused on getting big?
Have you seen what I used to look like, Sater?
I've seen a couple pictures, but you're gonna have to bring up some if you have any on hand right now.
I'll go ahead and while I'm talking about this, I'll go ahead and pull some up and send them to you in Discord.
Yeah, cool.
It was my life, man. I made I made every single meal that I ate.
What years was this?
Totally.
What like years were you hyper focused on this? Like, how old were you?
Probably like 18 to 21, and probably like 18 to 20, 21 in that range. It was about a 3-year period, 3.5-year period there.
I'm showing
and
these.
I don't know if those went through.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, you got that. So also you're what, like 5'11"? I think you're like just a tiny bit taller than me.
Like a quarter of an inch taller than you, or
Yeah.
like maybe half an inch. Yeah, same height basically.
Yeah. So, yeah, no, you took your shit crazy. So what is that first picture? Like, how old were you in that first picture? Or no, sorry, it's not the first picture. It's the fourth picture. I guess it's like the second and the
Fourth one. So the one where I've got my like tank top down. Yeah. The kind of like I'm trying to get the striations in the chest there. I was 20 in that picture, and I was probably about 165, 170, and just super shredded. But I mean, it was my entire life, dude. Like I would eat, even when I was cutting, I'd eat 5-6 meals a day. I would make every single one of those meals. So like I feel like several hours of my day was just like cooking and cleaning up after cooking. And then that's not even including the time in the gym. And then it kind of like I was so obsessed, it kind of became pervasive to my thoughts. You know, like it was all I was ever thinking about.
Let me ask you, but what was it about? Was it about the training, or was it about you thinking of food so much? Because I know when people are trying to stay lean, your mind starts becoming like just resist like binging food. Basically.
Yeah, it's
what was it?
Yeah, I'd go months without having a single cheat meal. And I don't think that's great for you. I don't like behave like that anymore. Like if I want a piece of fucking flan, I'm gonna have it, right? Like I deserve it. Like I eat well enough that I can do that. But I might have done it eventually after like a couple months of dieting, and then I would hate myself.
Yeah,
and that's not a way to live your life, man. You know,
like the self-hatred, that you.
It's in the body dysmorphia and all of that. I don't think that's the way to live your life. You know, I want to be happy in my skin. And I think working out can help with that as far as confidence goes and all that. But you know, where I was at with it, I don't think was healthy. And so I'm actually at this point in my life glad that I kind of stepped away from the gym and coming back to it with, you know, a much weaker build, you know, I'm not in nearly as good shape, but I'm able to come back to it from, I think, a healthier standpoint mentally.
Yeah. It's really cool to kind of hear other people's journeys. Like I had Zoe Pancakes on, and she talked about her own thing, because she was an actress.
Yeah.
And she had this, I mean, when you're in the acting business, you have to, if you want to get roles, it's just like the harsh reality is you have to be lean.
No, my brother's an actor. I get it. And she was jacked, dude.
Yeah, she was really fucking lean and super jacked. And she, you know what she thought about all the time was food. That's all she thought about. Her whole life was just thinking about food.
And it's longing, really. You're just sitting there wanting something that you're not going to give to yourself. Like that's not a fun way to exist all the time, dude.
No, it's horrible for your mental too, because you might think, oh, well, at least I look good. But like deep down, like the longer you just are in this kind of like self-loathing state where you feel like you have like these I don't know. They're just like these standards that you can't maintain for the rest of your life. It's not good.
And that goes back to the influencers that you see, right? And it's like they're putting these standards out there that I know, like I, as a kid, when I was 16, 17, you know, that's how I ended up looking like this, is I was, you know, working so hard, and I was looking at them and I'm like, why don't I look like that?
Yeah.
Because I was natural. And thankfully I stayed natural, but I like at one point I wanted to compete, and I remember thinking I have to take steroids if I want to do this. And I thought about it, man. Like I seriously considered it, and I ended up not doing it. But like I kind of get why that happens. It's that like unhappiness with yourself and watching what other people can do with it that like isn't possible.
So what was the ultimate goal for you? Like why did you do it? Was it just because you wanted to be bigger than the next guy, or was it because of attracting women? Or...
You know, I think a little bit of both. I think there was an insecurity piece of it, right? Like
that's for everybody. If you're getting into bodybuilding, like that, it's insecurity.
Yeah, that's probably fair. That's probably fair.
But that's not an inherently unhealthy thing to. I mean, it is kind of, but yeah, everyone's got their insecurities.
I mean, and that's definitely not the worst way to deal with them.
Yeah.
Right? Like you could get insecure and like drink so that you don't feel so insecure, and you can talk to people. I don't know. Like that's it's like there are times where I'm really anxious and I'll do that, and you know, that's not healthy. But you know, I think the gym is a really good thing. I'm excited to approach it in a different way this time around.
No, that's cool. I'm glad I never. I don't know. Like some people that start working out and starting to get big and stuff, they actually end up injuring themselves because they're trying to like just lift too much weight and stuff, ego lifting, and they
I've done it.
Pull something, tear something.
Yeah, I remember when I was like 18, something like that. Like I looked good, but I was still pretty skinny. Like I was just probably a year in,
Hmm.
and I wanted to, it was an ego thing. I was insecure. I wanted to lift more than I actually could, and I would put 225, double plates up on the bar for bench. I could probably bench like 180 at the time, and have my buddy spot me, and he was doing curls while I was doing bench, and I thought I was the coolest guy in the world, not realizing I looked like a fucking idiot. But I definitely had that, and I messed up my shoulder doing that, and I've messed up, my lower back deadlifting too heavy. I've messed up my ankle doing some shit that I really shouldn't have been doing, that I wasn't flexible enough to do. And I'm not doing that stuff anymore, man.
Yep.
It sucks getting injured, and it doesn't help you. You get set back so far with each injury.
Yep.
That it's not worth it. Just go nice and light, focus on the contractions, muscle mind connection, all of that, and you'll be good.
Yeah. That's cool, Val. It just hits a certain point in life where you just care more about the health.
Yeah. Yeah.
So let's go back a little bit to RuneScape. I want to talk about just at that era, 2017, 2016, who were the people that were okay. So I'm gonna throw you in the list, Zack Badass, and then there was Cloud Badass.
Yeah.
And what was up with the Badass, by the way? Because you both had it.
Okay. Yeah. So there was a question replying to the tweet: why Cloud Badass and not Cloud, or Zack Badass and not Zack Goodass? And it was my buddy Arby. Just a silly question, but there is a real answer to it. Yeah. It came from Cloud Badass, and my name is Reed. That's my first name in real life. But I remember being very scared of the online community. I've got, I didn't want anything to get back to my family or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
I remember being very worried about that. And so kind of within Final Fantasy, there's Zack and there's Cloud. So with him being Cloud Badass, I chose to be Zack Badass. And whenever I changed my name, I rebranded, and because I wanted my name and I was able to get it after I got partnered, people were like betrayed that I had not told them my real name. And I'm like, man, this was for my safety. I think it was because it was Zack. That's a real name, right?
Yeah.
Cloud, people were like, oh, we didn't think his name was Cloud. I was like, but that's what he went by. I don't know. But people were betrayed. They were like, you lied to us. And I'm like, well, I didn't want my family to get fucking swatted, dude. Like,
that was an actual concern. Maybe it was like somewhat imaginary. But if you were a big enough streamer, like that was a genuine fear of getting doxxed and like. Yeah.
And it's not even just big enough. It's if you piss off the wrong person back then.
Yes,
it's like you could have 20 viewers on average. Like you could be on the lower side of a streamer. That's still actually pretty high, especially for the RuneScape section. But like you could be not a big streamer, and just somebody decides they don't like you. And I was worried about kind of the characters like Hacky and Isla at the time. Now Hacky's one of my good friends, so I don't really get scared of that stuff anymore because that's the boy. But so I started out as Zack Badass, and it came from Final Fantasy alongside Cloud Badass.
Mm. Okay, so there was you, Cloud. Who else do you think at that time, very popular, big, talented PvMers?
Bodhi, so fucking appreciated. He was incredibly good. He still is very good. I watch him play and I'm like, fuck me, I'm washed. He was definitely, without a doubt, one of them. I think the best player in the game at the time. We're not counting Wooks, right? Because like Wooks will log in once a fucking month, or once a year for an update, and so we don't really count him. We'll just say he's the GOAT.
Yeah.
Right. But I think the best player in the game at the time was Corporal Eric, and he was actually the third Infernal Cape. And if you look at his gear, Wooks and Calvino were in max gear, and he was in he had an Arcane on, he had a Staff of the Dead, non-toxic or manually casting barrage. He had he just had shitter gear, and I actually know him in real life, and we've actually hung out a couple times, and we were like these two nerdy guys up at his school, which is kind of around me, and he was doing Sarah Dahlman in Void with an RCB on his Iron Man, using F keys to swap to the settings to run toggle while double clicking Sarah Dahlman in 2017. And some people that sounds like gibberish, but it was some cool shit.
That is, and this is pre-tile markers.
Yes,
he probably wasn't losing ticks like most of us.
He was on the official client. He was on the official client.
Oh my god, dude!
Yeah, man,
that is so painful to log into. Honestly,
yeah. I mean, I don't do it, but Eric's just he's a different breed.
Yeah.
And we're not so close over the years, but I have nothing but love for Eric, and I don't think he's really playing much anymore. But I think at the time he was the best player in the game.
Was he an Iron Man account?
So he had a max main. He has a max iron now as well, and then he had a hardcore that I believe died, and I think it's almost max now.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. No, there were definitely some beasts around that era with Inferno release. That was truly the gold standard. Like if you got an Infernal cape early, okay, I respect you. That's why I was very impressed with Automology getting his cape in like a month after release. Like Jesus, dude. Like what the hell? Like
I think he got it either just after me or before I did. Because actually I had like a health thing during the Inferno. I was, up there streaming, getting to the 60s with the other guys. And then I had a syncope episode where I just like passed out in the parking lot and like face planted. And so I didn't play for a month. And I remember Spark Mac got his cape before me. And somebody posted some picture of him or whatever. And I replied with LMAO. That's all I said. Like all caps LMAO or LOL, whatever, right? Just one word, one little acronym. And he roasted the fuck out of me. He's like, you're supposed to be a PvMer, but I got my Infernal cape before you. And then before I had a chance to respond, he fucking blocked me.
Bro.
And I got the fuck ratioed out of me by Spark Mac. But he did get his Infernal cape before me.
Yeah.
And it was really, really funny. So I can't even be angry about it.
No, that is legendary. Honestly, Spark Mac getting an Infernal cape, like that is mad impressive too, because he was always just a staker / PKer.
Yeah, and keep in mind, I was like top 50 for Inferno. It wasn't like I got it like a year after or whatever. Like I got healthier, I got better, went back, got it after a couple days or whatever. But SparkMac did get it before me, and I'm kind of impressed by that.
I'm hella impressed by that. Anybody that got it around that time, but if you got an Inferno cape in the first year, genuinely, especially if you got it in 2017, like that's wild. I mean,
and it's kind of crazy because it doesn't really mean anything anymore.
Dude, I remember it meaning so much, especially on Iron Man. Like, bro, so I had started playing my Iron Man when Inferno was released, and I was just a couple months into this account. And I remember watching the Inferno and being like, yep, nope, hell no, I'm never entering.
Yeah.
Like, hell to the no. Hell to the nah, to the nah. No, you ever watch that? Yeah. But then, I started, like, I was in my Iron Man clan, and there was, like, 1 or 2 people that were Iron Men that had an Infernal cape, and I was like, holy shit.
Was Bad Ideas one of them?
No, he wasn't in the clan, but I do know he was was he the first Iron Man?
He was the first. He was the first Iron to get one, yeah.
It's, like, genuinely impressive.
Yeah.
To do it on
well, and it's... now it doesn't matter because there's so many Iron Men with like they have the exact same gear as mains. I still think it's more impressive just as far as the time or whatever. But back then it was like you had a severe gear handicap, right? Like most people did not have the gear that you were pulling out on mains on their Iron Man.
No, they didn't.
And well, I mean, what was Inferno like 2017 that summer?
Yep. And then so like a couple people got their Infernal cape on Iron Man, and I was like, bro, if I get an Infernal cape on my Iron Man, I'm going to be worshipped. Like, people are going to fall down at their fucking knees when I'm bank standing, That is how it felt. That's truly how it felt. Now, of course, I was a giga nerd at the game, and I was just obsessed with it. So, obviously, I was way jaded in this whole mindset. But that is how it felt, because I would worship people that were Iron Men that had an Infernal cape. It was like, oh, my God. Like, and, dude, when I got mine, I was fucking worshipped, bro. I would do Melee Slayer in my Infernal cape in full Bandos. I was
you want to know the first thing I did when I got my cape? Keep in mind, there were probably 50 or 100 in the game at this point.
Let me guess. GE stood at the
G fucking E. I went straight to the Grand Exchange.
You have to.
And I just had a little train following me. It was incredible. I was like a superhero, dude. It was great.
It
was great. Yeah, I just showed my ego a little bit. I just got the cape.
Dude, you have to. That's the same thing.
I really had to recover from the Spark Mac thing, Like, I really needed that win.
Yeah, it was a slow recovery, but it was worse than the face planting in the parking lot.
No, I'm actually still recovering from it. The stream isn't where it used to be.
Oh my God. The thing is like your stream, you had taken so many breaks from streaming, and every time you came back, at least for a few years, it was just back up to 200, 300 viewers.
Yeah. I've been, and dude, like even when it's at 20 or 30 viewers now, I'm incredibly lucky. Most people that ever stream will never have that. And like just it'll actually make me emotional at times, like that I get to see the people that I have loved and cherished and known over the years and gotten to know over the years, that I get to come back after, like I'm allowed to go live my life, right?
Yep.
And when I get to come, but that doesn't mean that people have to be there when I come back, right? And to see people come back every single time that I come back is, it means the world to me, man. It's like literally one of the most precious things in my life, to have this community and have the people that are in my life from it.
That's very humble of you. Wholesome. Yeah, no, it is weird though, because it kind of feels, and you can tell me how you feel about this.
Yeah.
There's been generations of streamers that have come and gone, and a lot have stayed as well. But I mean, you were in that generation with, I would say like Zulu, Lake, Rig, Hey Jace. You all kind of came in at the same time. Because what year did you actually start streaming? Was it 2017?
It would have been early 2017. I think my first stream was probably 2016. I could like look up some old shit and figure out these timelines. As I get older, man, it all kind of starts blending together. But I think it's roughly that time period. Yeah, I think 2017, because I was streaming pretty heavily. I think I got partnered in 2017, and the Inferno came out.
Twitch is a different.
I remember I was
place now,
streaming
man.
during the Inferno on Cloud Badass, so that does check out that timeline.
Twitch is a completely different place now. I mean, there's still vague similarities, but it's about entertainment now rather than just gaming. And I don't know, like I remember I'm gonna bring up Automelogy again, but I remember watching him.
No, we love Automelogy. I like him a lot.
I love him to death. But he was grinding to 200 mil mining.
Yeah, I watched a lot of the hours on that stream. My brother was a huge fan of his.
Yeah, that was a dope ass stream. That was back when you could do skilling streams like successfully, very successfully.
Yeah.
I mean,
God, you remember Jace's skilling streams?
Yeah.
I loved those. I loved those streams, Sater.
They were dope as hell. I mean, he mainly would just play on, Jace Demon and PvM, but still he'd have his little Hey Jace in the background. And don't get me wrong. I'm
talking about like the going for 200 mil Slayer streams and stuff like that.
Oh yeah,
like when he was going for the 4.6, dude.
Yeah, no. But he would play his Jace Demon whenever he was just like.
Oh, that's right, for fishing and stuff like that. Yeah, gotcha.
But no, I mean that was, and there's good reason for it. That was back when nobody had the permanent rank 1 yet, and then Link's Titan got it, and then skilling as soon as the top page. I mean, even as soon as like the first like 2 people basically got 200 mil, I was like, okay, whatever. We just don't really care that much anymore.
Yeah.
But
no, I mean it was very hype when Jace got it, and then I think there's like 50 now, dude.
Dude, there's more than that. Let me look it up.
I remember seeing somebody that was ranked 44 and they had 200 mil all. Like I saw a tweet. They was pinned on their profile or whatever. It was 44, 46, something like that. And I was like, holy shit, there's that many. Like I was here when the first one happened.
Oh, you're right. There's 54 people that are 200 mil all.
I mean, that's still crazy. More than 2 pages. Bro,
there's a hardcore Iron Man that's 200 mil all.
Oh, that just happened. Yeah, I remember. If you know Ari Slash, he watches my stream quite a bit. Like I see him a bit, not as much since the kick move, but I remember what he was talking about. That was pretty recently. I feel like since I came back to streaming.
Yeah, just several months ago, I think.
Yeah.
That's
but yeah, the game has changed. I have a feeling that's going to be a lot of what we'll talk about today, just because of the nature of who I am and like my background and all of that. But it's a trip, dude, to see it all. So
back in the day, Bandos was very difficult, very complex, and now we have the likes of Inferno, CG, Raids, even the Desert Treasure 2 bosses. I mean, the Awakened variants in particular.
Yeah.
Coliseum. Like, what is? Yeah, like let's talk about the contrasts and the distinctions between that era and now. I mean, the game it's so much more difficult than it used to be.
Absolutely, and the players are so much more better by necessity, right? They have to be better, right? And the game, I think the game did have to keep getting harder. The gear keeps getting better, and we keep releasing new bosses. You got to have some stuff, especially for those those OG players. That this is what they do, is they like the tough content. And I will say this, I've only just started DT2 bosses. I've got about 5 Awakener orbs. I hate quests, so it took me forever to end up doing that quest. Like I got back to the game, started PvMing, realized I had to do 9 quests in order to do Desert Treasure 2. And almost quit again. Almost quit again, but I hung on there.
I'm with you.
It's just there doesn't need to be a quest for everything, man. You know. But so I've just started those, and I mean, Bandos is a drop in the bucket compared to some of this shit, man. I haven't even done the Awakened variants, and it's really, especially compared to things like Solo Theater of Blood, some of the stuff that people are doing at Chambers. Like I think even some of the stuff that I'm doing at Chambers now, like I'm pretty successfully doing solo no preps. Every once in a while I'll mess up or whatever, but I don't think Bandos is that hard. I think it's intimidating. It's that 1 HP, right?
Yep.
It's that because like people are doing that at raids. It's the same thing, right? They're getting below HP, and then when Olm attacks them, they're tick eating it and then moving while doing it. But being that 1 HP, I think is really scary.
Yeah, and it used to be way scarier back then.
Oh,
too.
It was terrifying, dude. Yeah. I remember doing, I did some kills on Deadman mode with Monk's Robes and a D-Skim. And I think it would have been Deadman mode. Yeah, because there was no like multipliers or whatever. It was several minute kills, right, man? And it was the most insane shit in the world to be doing something like that. Like I remember as soon as I entered that room, my viewers popped up from like 200 to 700. And now it's like, it's really, I don't think it's that hard. It is very punishing. But with death mechanics, it's not that big of a deal. I think we would see a lot more people doing it if it mattered at all. Right?
Yeah.
Like with the Bofa method, I didn't know this until fairly recently, but it's better kills an hour. The only reason melee would be better kills an hour is because you can stay there longer.
I don't even know if you could stay there longer. I'm pretty sure like just across the board. I mean, I think
I don't. Well, I haven't seen anybody do a 300 kill with Bofa. If they do, I'll have to destroy that record. I would hate that. But you're gonna run out of staminas unless you bring purple sweets.
Yeah. But you could just bring purple sweets. I mean,
so you'd run out of ranging pot.
What?
No.
Yeah, you could just not bring a ranging pot.
Yeah, so you could go forever.
Yeah, you could just go forever.
But you can do the same thing with melee.
Yeah, true.
But the reason I did melee over that, well, it's an ego thing as well, but is because the potions last a lot longer.
Yeah.
You're only potting to 112 with range. So you'd run out of ranging potion after like, I don't know, 150 kills or something like that.
Yeah, but even Bofa without ranging pots is just disgusting still.
I wouldn't know. I hate it, man. I really just want to give him
I'm with you,
700
bro.
range defense.
I used to... There's actually a question on the Twitter thread talking about what you would want to see from an updated like God Wars dungeon or God Wars Dungeon 2.0. Because I have talked about this several times with guests, talking about how and especially when the ranged methods first started coming out. Shout out GE Challenge for all of them. He's a gigabrain, but he's
a beast.
It did completely change God Wars Dungeon, and it just made it very just, I don't know, almost just... It's just easy. It's just easy. Just run to your tiles, boom, hit, run to your tiles. There's no prayer flicking needed. Yeah.
To be fair, people were doing this beforehand. It's really the Bofa that broke it.
But we're doing less than
with ACB, not as efficient, but they weren't getting hit. They were getting all their hits in. They were using more stamina, but they were using an ACB. It was one of Corporal Eric's friends. I think was that BC Guppy who actually came up with that method?
Guppy did.
He came up with that method, right? Well, it's like people were doing this for 20, 30 kill trips or whatever. Yeah. But when the Bofa came out, it's so good there. Like the ACB is not great there.
Yeah,
it's really how good the Bofa is. I think that is why those methods are so good. Like GE Challenge made them more accessible to people, but the Bofa made them possible.
That's true. And I remember just saying, like, yeah, if we were to ever have some sort of like updated God Wars, in my personal opinion, it would be the same classic style where there's 3 minions.
Of course, it has to be. Yeah,
the minions hit harder, and so you have to pray against them basically. And the boss has like 10x, and the boss has like 10x the HP. So you're in there for a long ass time. So it's just and the range defenses are much lower, or sorry, much higher. And the mage are much higher. So you're basically stuck in there in melee distance. All right, now you're forced to flick this shit. And you know what? You know what my favorite part of God Wars Dungeon is, in particular with Krill and Bandos, is after you've killed the boss, running and flicking the 3 mages with
1 HP
with the 4-tick weapon, preferably getting that like not losing prayer points and hitting that 4-tick
with
cycle
getting
with the 5-tick
the piety in there as well.
Oh dude, it feels great, and I wish it lasted.
And then
longer.
Doing all of that until you're full HP from 1 HP, right?
Yeah.
Like just that method of just getting everything that you can while losing nothing. I love that.
Yeah.
And it's very tryhard, it's very sweaty. And that's how I've always played the game, man. Even when I'm doing like agility, I'll be alking in between. Like I love that stuff, right? That high intensity nerd, my wrist really hurts type stuff.
My favorite thing in PvM is watching, Calvino flicking or watching Latius do the perfect. You kill Saradomin, you have 3 minions to flick, and he's using a blowpipe, and he's getting those perfect 2-tick rigor shots in. I
did
perfectly.
That for the whole record. Dude, it hurts.
It feels good though. Like that feels so good because initially that pattern, every 2 ticks flicking on rigor while having 3 distinct 5-tick minions attacking you.
Yeah,
that is overwhelming as fuck. Like you actually have to sit down and critically think about what the hell. What is the pattern?
You plan out each tick, right? And you do 2 cycles of 5 ticks so that the 5 times 2 adds up to 10. And then you just repeat that again and again. But you do have to sit there and think about it, right? Like you gotta do a little bit of mental math.
And it's practice. You got to get the muscle memory in. But then as soon as you have it, oh my God, dude, it feels good.
And I mean, that's really how, badass. Yeah, that's how I've done really everything in this game is I've like sat there in bed, hyper fixated on it, mapped out every single, like there's one thing that I still want to do is a 1 per point, 1 HP Bandos kill start to finish.
Yes.
With tick eating and melee. There are times where you got to click like fucking 7 times in 1 tick if you have to tick eat on that cycle.
Are you going to do shield flicking too, you said, or no?
No, I might do some piety flicking. Yeah, because you're 1 HP anyways.
Dude.
But I might do some piety flicking.
Okay.
But I don't have the mechanical skill to do it right now. Like there was a point where I could do the type of stuff like the Calvino where he does the 6 jads with blowpipe flicking or rigor flicking and with a blowpipe at 1 prayer point, right? And there was a point where I had that mechanical skill and I've lost it. I don't know if it's getting older. It's probably just playing less, but I've lost it. I've got to get that back if I want to return to some of those high level challenges that I used to do.
It's playing less, but it's also just like you gotta have good equipment, consistent. Like if your monitors aren't a high enough refresh rate, that can fuck you up. If your mouse has the goddamn. Well, speaking of mouse acceleration, just mouses in general, like. Did you play with mouse acceleration?
Yeah, we talked about this.
We were talking about this. Yeah. What the hell? What? But you said you don't anymore.
I do not. No. So when I started,
were you getting these records early on with mouse acceleration?
Yes, 1600 DPI. Dude. So I had a Logitech G502, 6 out of I think 7 out. I think it was a little bit above 6 out of 11 because I had messed with it like ages before I started playing. I was on 1600 DPI with mouse acceleration on, and my clicks were fucking fantastic.
Pro.
I had just gotten used to it, but then I realized what it was. I think I started to kind of branch off and play some FPS games with my friends and stuff like that. And they had me turn it off because I thought about it, right? It's 2 factors rather than 1. You're going to be more consistent without it on, right? Just logically, that's how it's going to work. And so I turned it off and it took me a while to get used to it. And then once I did, I lowered my DPI slowly down to like 1200. And I think I had the best clicks then after I got used to it. And then I lowered it down to 800 because I wanted to still be able to play this game when I'm 40 instead of having to have wrist surgery or whatever. And so I started to play a little better for myself and play a little worse at the game when I started doing stuff like that.
Interesting. Yeah, because mouse acceleration when I played I used to play RuneScape every single day on a tiny little laptop with a wireless Walmart mouse.
Yeah.
And the mouse was on I would lay stomach down on my mattress and just have my mouse on the mattress itself, like using just wireless. And it was just horrible. And the frame rate was 60 or, something like that. It was just horrible. And then you finally upgrade. I mean, my monitors right now are 144, which is definitely enough. I would love to go even higher, but
especially for RuneScape.
Yeah. No, now I have a Razer mouse that's just, the best sensors in the game right now. And it's just like when you have everything perfectly set up and you got your perfect DPI, no mouse acceleration, dude. Oh, it's so good. The person that comes to mind actually, when I would watch their stream, I'm like, dude, their equipment sucks. Is mutts. Mutts,
really?
Bro. I used to watch. I think
is it still a thing? Or?
I think things have changed.
Okay.
But when I watched back years ago, dude, I would watch his client when he was playing and doing raids. Dude, it's like he was playing on something with like a 30 refresh rate or something. It's like his mouse was just skipping everywhere.
Oh my god!
It's just like there was no smoothness to anything. And I'm like, dude, it would be so hard to do like 8-way switches and a couple ticks and do all these things when your mouse isn't even visually like appearing.
Was he doing them back then, or?
I mean, no. It's just so many misclicks. I mean, with
Okay,
anybody,
I wasn't sure like how he was, because like Wooks has the $25 Dell mouse or $15 Dell mouse, right?
Oh my god,
his clicks are incredible.
No, they are.
So I got a super light G Pro wireless in today. I just started using it. I'm using it to do agility, so it's great. I'm really breaking it in. But like, what if we got Wooks on one of these? Like, what would the game be able to handle it? Would the servers just start catching on fire if he had a good equipment, like a good setup?
Dude, no. You know what actually blew my mind is Wooks. The way he plays, he hardly ever misclicks, which is very impressive because he plays on resizable. It's like his inventory so
full
tiny.
screen, dude.
Yeah, it's just like, dude, you're playing in a boomer way. And yet somehow you're still getting the world's first Coliseum completion. Like, you're a
he kind
legend.
of God, I'm gonna get so much shit for that. He kind of is a boomer though. He's like one of the OG. He's the OG, right, dude? Like, he's been around. So it's not really surprising that he's playing in a bit of a boomer way. But it's surprising he's so good like that.
No, he's really good. But there is a limit, because if you're using shitty equipment, you're never going to be able to get good at speed running. Like hard pieces of content, like Inferno. Like, Wooks would never be able to compete with what we have in today's community.
Well, and you just have to make a couple changes, right? And then he'd also have to put in a lot more time. But did you see Addycon's? And I talked a little shit in this thread, but I was just being dumb. But his recommendations for how to become a better player, how to get better clicks. Did you see that thread on Twitter?
Maybe. You can you want to link me it, or is it just
if I can find it? Yeah, let me find it. By the way, the message I sent you on Discord, that is what I set the Sarah Domin record on. One of those pop-up foldable chairs from Target. That was my desk when I started streaming.
Oh yeah. Did you have a lawn? Here's the real question though. Did you use a lawn chair? Because that's how I started streaming. I had a fucking lawn chair and I sat and just
I had the same chair I'm in right now, my DX Racer. The first one I bought, like the base model, the smallest base model. I was in that same chair.
Oh, nice.
So I bought the DX Racer because like I wanted to save my back. I know that like I've got a history of back problems in my family and all that, and they're affecting me now. So I bought the DX Racer, and then I was like, fuck, I'm really broke now. Because I had to replace the HDD in my laptop, got an SSD, which that allowed me to actually stream, and that's when I started streaming after that happened. And so I had the nice chair and the shitty laptop with like a stand. Like, you can go to Best Buy and buy a stand that has a fan underneath it, because otherwise it would overheat while I was streaming. And like a Logitech G502, and that's what I set the Sarah Domin record on. And in like my little bedroom with my mattress on the floor. And the only thing in there was like the table and I think it was a 15-inch Alienware laptop that was like 5 years old.
I love it. And they just get dude. I used to, on my laptop, I would lay it on my pillow basically, or just like off my pillow, put my pillow to the side. But sometimes I'd get uncomfortable laying on my stomach, so I'd lay up next to the wall, with my back on the wall, and I'd have the laptop laying not on. I would have my laptop sometimes I would push up the pillow, so my pillow is right underneath my neck, and so my neck is up, and so normally your laptop's supposed to be on your lap. No, my laptop was on my stomach, and the monitor was laying on my legs, because I have my legs like up. And so if you could imagine what it looks like, and that laptop,
I'm really trying to imagine this.
So just imagine the laptop is laying on my belly. The screen is laying against my legs that are propped up.
I've got it now. Yeah. So your stomach is just cooking.
Oh my god, dude! It was like a burning like stove, basically, just on my stomach. Like I would lift it up, and my belly would be red, bright red. Just
my god! No, I did some of that. I did a lot of playing in the bed. When I know when he might not like me sharing this, but I'm gonna. That's the boy. When Lake started streaming, he was working, he's such a fucking badass. He was working like 50, 60 hours a week, and then streaming on top of that from his bed, using like an EMT study book or something as his mouse pad, like a biology book or something from school for his mouse pad.
Yep.
And he was like fucking maxed and shit and doing tick-eating bandos. I just think it's really cool to see like kind of where
the real gamer setups,
like kind of where we came from, like, and honestly, it's like, when you think about it, like it's a little depressing, and also kind of like for me inspiring. It's like I was not doing well, dude. Like my mattress was on the floor. I was spending 13 hours a day on this game, and now I'm able to come back to it from a point of like I'm taking care of myself. I've got a bed frame, you know. Not that that really matters, but
It does. It does matter, bro.
it's like
I'm the
we've all
same.
grown up so much.
Yeah.
We've all grown up so much, and I do think it matters. I agree with that. But we've all grown up so much. It's very cool to see, and I'm very proud of myself for kind of getting out of that. I mean, this game was my life for a while, man.
Dude, same.
But it's your career as well.
But it wasn't for a long time. It wasn't.
That's true.
I just was addicted.
But if it at the time that it wasn't,
yeah,
right? If it wasn't your life then, would it be your career now?
No.
Yes, exactly. That's what I'm saying. You know,
you're right. No,
because
but
I found this thread. I believe it's kind of long-winded. I think it's a Windows mouse setting 6 out of 11 type thread.
Okay. Did you link me the one that is just talking about mouse setting sucks, or do you want me to
No, let me see.
Jesus, is long.
So I'm going to do the in summary. That's what I'm going to link you. But it's in summary all the things that you need to be changing in order to become a better player. And they're incredibly relevant.
Okay.
They're all some of the things that I had done kind of intuitively, like changed around my client size, not so much so that it would be smaller, but so that I could position, right? Like I would position Sarah Dahmen to be right next to my prayer orbs so that I could attack her while turning my quick prayer on and then move away while turning it off, effectively making a method where I can do 0 prayer point full DPS Sarah Dahmen kills. And that's the method I used to set the record. But like I came to this conclusion kind of on my own ages ago, some of these. And I think more people should know about it. I'm over it at this point. I think more people should be good at the game. They're already good. I can't change that. Let's make everybody great at the game, you know? Mm-hmm. Let's share the info that we all had to figure out ourselves.
No, I mean, you're totally right. And I think, mouse acceleration is definitely the one in particular. It's almost like it comes with like a pre-built PC. Like if you got like a mouse and everything, people are just using mouse acceleration. And if you have a higher refresh rate monitor, it doesn't come with like it's not.
Yeah, you have to change the NVIDIA settings yourself. Yeah, absolutely.
So
that's the other thing is I bought a 144 hertz monitor, and for about a year and a half, I was playing on 60 hertz and had no clue. And like I work in IT now, which is really funny, but I knew nothing about computers. I knew nothing about anything.
I still know nothing about
I'm pretty good now. But yeah, just looking back at myself and all the shit that I didn't know. But I think refresh rate is good. I think the GPU plugin is good as well to get that actually utilize that.
Oh yeah.
Smaller client size, as small as you can get while maintaining functionality, being able to see stuff. I think resizable is superior. Turn off mouse acceleration.
I'm stretched fixed mode all the way.
So I'm considering that. I tried it 7 years ago or so. I think it was on Conduit, and it was the most disgusting thing I've ever seen on my screen. Everything was messed up. You couldn't read your chat.
Just pixelated as hell. There was no XBR scaling.
Yep.
It's horrible.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm considering trying it out because I think the look of fixed is incredible. But you do lose some functionality, right?
Yeah. No, you do. But when you get used to it, it's just you don't even realize the functionality you're missing out on in a way. Which is kind of a nice thing.
I think with the stretch fix, you're not losing so much. You can get that a little bit, but you can get that like I guess that view. There's like a lot of with fixed. I can't see some stuff like Soul Heredit taking off your backpack. You got to zoom out so much to see that unfixed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, normal fix is brutal to look at. I mean, my eyes are horrible as well. So
yeah, mine too. Yeah,
staring at a tiny little fix is just horrible. But I never liked resizable because I don't know. I just don't like the shrunken inventory mainly. That's the biggest thing. Like I like it when everything's perfectly ratioed to a fixed client. It just looks clean. Also, streaming
I do like the inventory more. Yes. Well, so I think it was Soup had that Twitter thread. I don't know if you saw that.
Oh yeah, I did see it.
Talking about fixed versus whatever, and like whether it's a viewing. I think it was mainly a viewing angle, right? And that's the reason I started using fixed. Is because Bodhi was streaming, and like at the time, I'm still a huge fan of Bodhi. Even after meeting him several times, like I'm a huge fan. But like I very much looked up to him as a streamer and all of that. Like he was the guy who made this section happen. And kind of figure where I was fucking going with that. So he was the one who said if Reed and Lake made Hardcore Iron Man, it would be the best content in this game. He said that in 2017. Lake made one on the spot. I made one the next day, which I think is really funny because I learned recently that whenever he first met me and Lake, thought we were the same person and got us confused. But he said that, and so we both made hardcores. And then he said like that that for viewing experience, fixed is best. And so I started playing in fixed. And the point that I'm at now, I want to do things for me. Like it's cool. Like, yeah, it's if people enjoy watching my stream, that's great. Just because I like talking to people. I that's one of my favorite things, just hanging out with people. But if I enjoy playing on something more, that's just how I'm going to do it. And I realized that I enjoy Resizable more, and I always have. I was just lying to myself for the viewer angle, whatever, in order to do it, and in order to play in fixed. And I enjoy playing in Resizable, so I just started doing it. Like the streaming isn't as important to me as it was. Now it's like my hobby. It's something I enjoy, and so I'm gonna enjoy it to the best of my ability.
You should give stretched fixed mode a try. Just try it out, because you get the luxury of the full screen experience in a way. Yeah. So you're not squinting, and but you still get. And I have
terrible eyes too, so. Yeah.
And XBR
somebody
just looks
made a
great.
tweet and had that like setting and all of that, like, and showed me what to do, and so I'm gonna try it out. I plan on it. I was so excited when Conduit had it. I think it left a bad taste in my mouth trying it out, and then it was just disgusting.
OS Buddy had it too, and there was
and that one also sucked.
Yeah, just horrible. Yeah. Everything gets really pixelated.
Yeah.
Look, if you didn't have the aspect ratio perfectly right as well, oh my god, it turned into like this smear of just pixels and.
And I had trouble even getting it right, even if it was 1-to-1. I was compared to what it started as, like I was having trouble getting it to work right, at least on Conduit.
Yep.
And so it kind of left a bad taste in my mouth, and I didn't try it for a while, but I'm willing to give it a shot.
It's really clean now. Yeah. But
I'm willing to give it a shot because I do love the look of fixed. I don't like missing out on that functionality just for a viewing experience.
You mentioned Bodhi kind of being like, oh, if Lake and Reed started a hardcore, that was back when hardcore Iron Man was the shit.
Yes,
dude, it was.
And there weren't that many players at that caliber. I'm not there anymore, but at the time I was very good, right? I was one of the top players. There weren't that many players of that caliber that were doing hardcore.
Mm-hmm. They were all
so like, I took 8 Bandos on my hardcore. Nobody else fucking did that, It's not then. I think a couple people have done it since then, but like nobody had done that at the time. Because it's fucking scary, 2,000 hours into this account. And if you don't click exactly on this 0.6 second, right at the perfect time, every 0.6 seconds as you're flicking these things, and then also eat in between, you lose that. And then to add to it, you lose it in front of 200 people.
Yep.
Who, like, you don't want to be embarrassed in front of. Like, you like these people.
And they will hate you if you die. They will hate you.
Right.
They hate your guts. That's what's going on.
Yeah. Well, they won't actually hate you, but they might stop watching. Honestly,
you're right.
Your viewership will go down.
You're right.
And it's like, I want to hang out with you guys. I don't know,
bro.
It's yeah.
Do you remember early hardcore where Theater of Blood had actually? Now I need to get the time period of. You must have been at least watching Twitch.
I've always been somewhat active in the community.
Okay.
Maybe not every day, but I would pull up Twitch. I'd be on Twitter. I'd be keeping up. And then I've got some of you guys on Instagram, stuff like that, right? I've always been somewhat active.
Okay.
Had to take some time away.
When Theater of Blood came out, it was... just the fact that they were coming out with Raids 2 and it was unsafe. It was unsafe for hardcores. Like, it was dangerous.
Yeah,
it was a dangerous stuff. Like, that was crazy.
Chambers isn't. Yeah, that was the first raid like that. Yeah.
And people, we were just thinking, bro, if a hardcore gets a purple at top, or even just does one top, like they're a crazy person. Like, this is so dangerous. And then, so when the first hardcores started doing Theater of Blood on stream, it was just like thousands of viewers. Or even if they were a small streamer, it just all of a sudden in the high hundreds,
Well,
like
do you remember the Inferno streams on Hardcore Iron Man?
Yeah, those are wild.
For no reason, I would have 2,000 viewers if I made it to Zuck. And I was the 6th hardcore with the cape. That Lake was the first. This was a year afterwards, the 6th hardcore to get the cape. And I would have 2,000 viewers every Zuck. And I'd go from, right, like I wasn't that active at this point. I'd go from 50 to 70 viewers to 2,000 at a safe death content. It was crazy.
Yep.
It was I don't really get it. I was happy, but I don't really get it,
it's funny. Like you just a stream starts kind of excited. I mean, it still happens to this day. If there's enough kind of hype. I mean, if somebody was going for their first cape and they're prominent enough of a figure, people are going to.
Well, we saw it with Rig.
Yes,
right?
perfect example.
And that was a special circumstance because of his story, his journey, right?
Exactly.
Going from trying to runecraft pineapples at the nature altar to I don't know if you've seen that picture.
Oh yeah, everyone's seen that.
I love that picture. Yeah. To having not one but multiple Infernal cape, like multiples completion.
Yeah, within a short span, getting 3
I've been
capes.
a fan of Rig for a long time. He's said a couple times on stream that he's a big fan of me because like back in the day, people would like talk a lot of shit on him on Twitter and stuff, and I would always stand up for him. And so like I have been a big fan of Rig for a long time. He's been a good friend of mine. I have nothing but love for him, and to get to see that, how cool was that, man? I don't know if you like we were kind of following and watching the Inferno streams, but
that was yeah.
It's a similar thing to like me having you be one of my first viewers, and like how you've got viewers that it's not every viewer, but you got somebody that like they come in and you're really excited. They're your friend, right? Like you're excited to see them. You were one of those for me, and so was Whale, right? Back when it was Whale Steamroll Tail first, and like to see that, it's kind of the same feeling as watching Rigondeaux like get several fucking Infernal capes, man. It's a surreal feeling, and it's a weird thing to be proud of, like your buddy who plays RuneScape, but I am, right?
It is. It's just it's such a special moment because it's like overcoming so much fear and overcoming these insane challenges that you've built up in your mind for years and years and years of like, I mean, and you said like the story of Rig. I mean, he started off as a 200 mil hunter. He hunted 200 mils on his main account. Nothing particularly challenging other than just a mental battle.
He wasn't the most efficient guy either, right? Like he was doing nats. He wasn't like one ticking his inventories. He didn't have like the crazy, like when Bodhi was doing lavas and stuff when he was maxing. I enjoyed watching that type of skilling. Watching Automelogy do like Granite and stuff, like his clicks are incredible. Like watching him do PvM is fun because his clicks are really good. But that wasn't Rig.
No,
right? He's not bad at the game, but now he's not bad at the game. But like back then, dude, like he didn't have the clicks. He had none of the experience. And now he's got a sick maxed Iron Man with an Infernal cape.
It's crazy.
It's cool. It's really cool to see.
I didn't think he'd ever make an Iron Man. So when he first announced,
like
because he finished up 200 mil prayer, and then that's when he decided I'm going to make the 2005 Iron Man hardcore.
Yeah.
And he even has talked about that he wanted to make that, but after even just a little bit playing it, he just realized this is fucking depressing playing this. Like, trying to play this
I could tell too. I was watching those early stuff, and like he would be, I think a big piece of frustration for him was like he would be doing everything to the best visibility, and somebody would be like, actually, this didn't exist back then. And he'd be like, well, restart the account then, is what people would say. And it's like, fuck. But I remember watching that, and I was like, dude, this has got to be so frustrating, because I watched that happen a couple times where somebody was like, actually, you're not allowed to have that. You're not allowed to use that. You've already used it, but you're not allowed to. I'm really glad he's not doing that anymore. I think it was a really cool journey that he did. I think it was a great way for him to get into that, like back into Iron Man from where he was at. But I'm glad he's on the right path now, right?
Just the the right path. Just the fact that he's an Iron Man that's maxed with an Infernal cape. If you had said that, let's just say 3 years ago. If you had said Rigondeaux in the next 3 years is going to be a max Infernal cape Iron Man,
I would have done a wellness check on you.
I'd have been like, what
if I heard you say that?
Like, that's just that would have been wild to consider that he would actually do that. So the crazy thing is I had him on just recently talking about this all. And
really?
He actually, it was just like a month and a half ago or maybe just even a month ago. But we were just talking. And he actually did a few Infernal attempts when Inferno first came out. He actually got to like wave like in the 50s or something.
I did not know that.
Yeah, and then he just didn't go for it again. He's like, no, I'm just going to focus on my 200 mils. So,
wow. Yeah, honestly, that's not surprising that he would just be like, yeah, fuck it.
Yeah.
This is another time thing for me.
Yeah. So, no, I'm a huge fan of Rig. I've always been a fan of his.
He's a sweetheart. I love Rig to death. And
I want to meet him, man. Like that was supposed to be RuneFest, but RuneFest is officially canceled now.
Yeah, God. So is TwitchCon the move this year then, or?
It's TwitchCon. I'm never buying a TwitchCon ticket ever again because it's just a waste of money, in my opinion. Because I don't actually.
Yeah.
It's because I don't care about Twitch. I just care about the old school community. So when I'm walking around TwitchCon, I'm like, there's just a bunch of cosplayers and a bunch of nerds walking around and just random conventions. I have no idea what any of this is. I don't care about the big streamers. Like, just get me out of here. Like, I just want to go hang out with the old school people again.
And I do think that stuff's cool. Like, I think Comic-Con stuff like that is cool. It's not like why I'm going there though, right? I'm going there to see the RuneScape community. So I totally get you on that.
If you like any bit of Twitch, you'll probably enjoy just browsing some of the, random things set up and stuff, but I had no interest. I just like, where's It's Will, where's Hanner? I want to go meet them because they're showing up. They're not coming to any of these other parties. So I gotta. My one
God, I would love to meet Will, man.
They're so cool. They're both.
Awesome. I love Hanner too. Yeah. But fucking Will, I watch his stream a lot. He's actually one of the streamers I watch the most. And I have no idea why. I was just in there one day. I guess I have been watching him since he was smaller. I had like a couple hundred viewers, but I'm just a mod in there. And not a lot of people are in there because you remember I was timing you out in Orlando,
bastard.
And I just fuck around with it, dude. I just like, I don't know. I guess he's got to. I love Will. He's got to like me or something because he just lets me just like time random people out, and I'm just like, hey, Will, I really feel like banning somebody. I'm gonna do that real quick. But that's one of my favorite parts of his stream is just fucking with people, and he does not care, man. Especially with his size and like how big he's grown. I mean, he's huge now. He's a massive streamer now.
He's just as cool in real life too. Like meeting him, he's cool. He's down to earth as hell.
Yeah, he's definitely one of those people. I mean, you were up there. Whale was one of the people that I was most excited to meet.
Whale is so chill. What were we? Who was I talking to about like Whale's aura is just like good vibes, just positive energy.
It really is
chill as hell.
It really is.
You hang around Whale and your stresses just kind of wash away. You're in good company.
Yeah, you realize it's not that important, like everything's fine. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what it feels like. He's like chill as shit.
So Zoe Pancake said this to me as she was leaving, as I was saying goodbye. It was a little emotional. I was so happy to meet everybody, but she said it was like we had always known each other. And I was like, dude, that's how I felt with almost all of you guys. I mean, like, obviously I did like get to know you a little bit, but it's like, dude, like I've known this, like I've literally known you not that well, but I've known you for 7 years. Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that's even without like spending time with somebody in person. That's a long time. And like I've known things about you over the years and like picked up on things and all of that. But Whale was one of those people. The reason I brought up Zoe saying that is like I felt like that about so many people out in Orlando. It's like you grew up with them. Mm-hmm. It's like going home to your like best friend you haven't seen in years, and you pick up where you started off, except you just met this person. It was a really cool experience, and it's like you made a tweet. You said RuneScape players are level 99 family. Something
they
like that.
are, man.
And it's how it's you couldn't have said it better, right?
Yeah, that was a genius tweet by me. I'm a legend.
Yeah, no, it was pretty good. It was pretty good.
I thought it was pretty good. But
I think I retweeted it. Yeah,
it's 100% true. The RuneScape players are level 99 family when you meet them in person.
Yeah, I mean, what a community we have here, dude.
So great, man.
And even just the like, I know you tweeted recently about like how like you took some time to reflect on how grateful you are to be able to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what a community that's possible, and that I'm able to be here today, and like you're able to be doing this is a really fucking cool thing, man.
It really is, and it's unlike any other gaming community too.
There's not even a comparison.
There really isn't. No, it's just wow. It's family, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's totally like, and I don't need to. One of the other cool things is that I'm able to be a full-time creator and be myself.
Yeah,
like that is a luxury that I'm one of those people that I can't pretend I'm somebody else. I can't pretend that I'm.
Yeah.
I can't turn on the persona instantly.
Turn on the entertainer light. Yeah. Let's flip that switch.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm not good at that.
I could put on a little bit more energy if I need. Yes. Like if I just start recording a ramble, I'm all of a sudden the YouTube voice kind of turns on a little bit, but it's still me ultimately.
So I can put in more effort and I can have a better attitude about it. But like you mentioned earlier, to go back to this, about how you're an entertainer if you're a RuneScape streamer.
Mhm.
And when I started out, my ability to entertain was doing shit that nobody had ever done before, really cool content and all of that. So I wasn't a personality streamer. So, and I realized very starkly that that's how the section was whenever I made a hardcore Iron Man, because it was going to be the best content in the game, lad, right? Like fucking Bodhi did that, and so I made one, and then my viewership dropped, right? Because I'm not killing this setting records anymore, right? Now I'm doing low level skilling, and that's when I realized like it's entertainment, right? And I think you're lucky, and it's also, I think you also deserve it to be able to be who you are. You're probably just a good fucking guy, and like you're able to be yourself because people like who you are, right? But like that, I was never able to put on that persona, that like streaming, like I'm silly and goofy or whatever, just because that's who I am. But like I'm not good at like baiting responses and shit. None of that makes any sense to me. I just want to play video games and talk to my friends, you know?
And that's what it used to be like a lot more, because when we were talking just earlier, just the difference of Twitch then versus now.
Oh, I mean,
back then it was just gamers. There was no pools, hot tubs, bikini section.
Oh yeah, yeah.
No, was none of that.
That's true.
It was just like
so some good things have come out of it. That's good, at least.
Yeah, but it was just a different place. It was just gamers uniting and just, you know, being nerdy and stuff. And
yeah,
it still is that to some extent, but it's definitely just a different environment.
It's changed a lot, and I think some things for the worse and some things for the better. Like I think the community as a whole is more inclusive. I think we're more supportive and protective of people.
We are, and we're older and more mature because we're not having an influx of new players coming in and just ruining it all for us.
and there are a lot of players that, you know, they really kind of suck. You know, they're angry, they're mean.
We've lost a lot of them though, and
I agree. I think the community's turning.
I also don't see a lot of them. I mean, I think it was just a couple weeks ago, I was browsing my blocked. I was in a Discord call with somebody. I was just looking at all the blocked accounts on Twitter. I'm like, oh yeah, that's why it's been so pleasant over the years. Like just how many fucking weirdos I've blocked over.
And it's so funny because it's like, oh, you blocked me, I won. It's like, oh, but did you? Now I don't have to deal with the insufferable person that you are online. I won. Like I have my peace now, and I'm never gonna think about you again.
Yeah.
Like I don't understand like replying to people like people will reply with like they're blocked by that person and act proud of it or whatever. It's like, no, dude, this person just never wanted to see you speak again. That's not a good thing.
One of the best things though is I've actually had people that I've had blocked that'll come to me somewhere else, either on a Twitch stream or Discord or whatever, and they'll be like, hey, like I fucked up, like I'm really sorry. Like, can you please unblock me? Like, I promise not to like do that again. And there's actually been several, like a handful of people that have actually done that, and I am cool unblocking them, and then they don't do it again. So like that, I feel like is really cool to kind of have that, I guess, at least notoriety enough, because I feel like the only reason they care enough to be unblocked by me is because, you know, I have a podcast, like I have a platform, and they want to be in the know because
they want to be a part of it.
I talk about old school and stuff, and so me blocking somebody actually is a big deal for some of these people. So like, for me, I don't.
But for you, it's nothing, right?
I don't care.
You know, it's like you're just taking care of your peace and your sanity.
Exactly.
But yeah, well, and I'm a firm believer in second chances.
Totally, same.
You know, like and sometimes I regret it. Like there was this one dude who, like, he's blacklisted by me at this point, but he said some shit, and I was like, okay, that was your chance. I gave him another chance, and he just started spewing vile, racist, awful things, right? And that was it for me. But I still see him getting chances and stuff, but I will give somebody a chance, always. And sometimes I'll give you more than one depending on what you did. Like I know that people can change and all of that, but I don't understand like flexing being blocked by somebody, you know?
Yeah, it's weird.
Speaking of flexing being blocked by somebody, I'm blocked by SparkMac. That's a pretty good flex.
Yeah, no,
it never unblocked me after
like
the Inferno
7 years
thing.
Now too. Huh?
Yeah, it never unblocked me.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm looking at this Twitter thread we got going on, and I want to answer some of these questions, or I want you to answer them. So Jesse asks, "What is the meaning behind becoming half Tron?"
So she's referring to. I just finished up my sleeve. I'm sure you saw it in person, but I just finished it on my Twitter right after Orlando. Um, and it's really
Is there a picture of that? You can just link me real quick and I can show it.
yeah. Let me grab.
Show
It'll be
for
on my
the YouTube audience.
profile. Yeah, absolutely. Let me grab it real quick. So there's two pictures in this tweet. It'll show both sides of it. Really, really sweet artist, really cool idea. It's like an anatomy biomechanical type sleeve, which they're a little out of style, but his is a little different. It's like it's my arm, right? It's like the tendons on there. He grabbed onto my arm and like traced out my tendons. It's all freehand with Sharpie and stuff, and then he tattooed over it. And like the kind of the forearm muscle, he grabbed onto it. So like if I move, he traced it out. So if I move my forearm around, like you can see that moving. So it's literally my arm. I think it's very unique, very cool.
Yeah, that's
There is
insane.
zero meaning behind it. There's none. I like art. Like I love art. I do some painting now. I like drawing and stuff like that too. I want to get into like digital art and all that too. But I just think it's cool. Like all my other tattoos do have some inherent meaning, and like some of them I've actually drawn out and designed myself. But this one I just saw a cool artist, wanted to get my sleeve done, and decided to do it.
That looks really dope. How painful was that, honestly?
Do you see the second picture
Yeah, it looks like it's
up
red.
in there by the armpit?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's and a lot of that's blood too. But
Oh, God. That must have
it's
hurt so fucking bad.
dude, I've got a pretty high pain tolerance, and it is a tolerance, right? Like so it's something that you can train, right? So I train it through going to the gym, through like a cold exposure therapy. I do some of that, and then like eating spicy food as well as training your pain tolerance, because I want to eat spicier. I want to experience different food from all around the world, and my genetics didn't help me with that, what I was born with, so I got to figure it out. But that spot right there, like I thought my soul was leaving my body. It was so bad, and that was the first point during the sleeve where, and like I had my elbow done, the ditch where like your arm forearm connects to your upper arm done, like my collarbone done. That up there, I was like, I think I might give up. Like I might tap out.
God.
And I was like an hour into this 6-hour session to finish it off. Yeah, and I was like sweating, like starting to get anxious. When you like have those thoughts that kind of keep rolling. It was really tough, and so, but I do a lot of like meditation and breathing and stuff. It's just it's something I have to do to deal with anxiety and process stuff. But so I just kept doing that, and I asked him to like check on a movie so I could focus a little bit, or like not focus on the tattoo and watch the movie. And that helped a little bit. He put on a shitty fucking like podcast instead of a movie. I think it was the Sae Bae cast or something like that. But
who? Some random.
Good point. Who? But no, it was really tough. I am so glad to be done. I'm so glad I never have to do that again until the next sleeve.
Yeah. Oh my God. That sounds dreadful. Ultimately, it is funny that you mentioned meditation, because ultimately, I feel like part of the reason it would hurt so bad is because of the thought that this is going to go on for 5 more hours, rather than, because ultimately all you're experiencing is the present nonstop. So as long as that present moment is bearable enough to withstand the next moment,
it's just close to not bearable enough, which is that's where it kind of breaks down. Because like if I get to that moment, right, that mindfulness, that meditative state, I can do whatever usually. But it was, and what I try and do is like, because when you're meditating, you're feeling, right? You're feeling your body, all of that, and you're breathing. And I try to not focus on the pain, but focus on my entire body. So I'm feeling the pain still, like, but if I just focus on the pain, it's like too much. But I'm feeling the pain still, but I'm also feeling the other parts of my body that aren't in pain. Or maybe like my elbow's a little like sore from the angle I'm at or whatever. And that makes it easier like as a whole. So it's not just pain. It's like your whole body, and then you got the pain on top of it. But the meditation, regardless of just tattoo, has changed my entire life as far as my ability to deal with things and process things and to be happier living in the moment. It's changed my whole life. Mindfulness.
That's sick.
It actually kind of brings me to another one of the questions, if you want to get to that one. I wrote them down and kind of thought about it.
Go for it.
Alyssa, she said, what was the biggest life lesson? I'm paraphrasing, but I think this is pretty accurate. What was the biggest life lesson that I've learned from RuneScape? And it's like, somebody might cringe at this question, but I absolutely have learned a lot. And it's literally, it's one sentence. The time will pass anyways.
Damn.
It's like, I'm gonna spend all this time on this game. Like, the time's gonna pass anyways. One day you're gonna wake up when you're 30. That's gonna happen anyways. Enjoy yourself, and that helps me live in the moment as opposed to spending all of my waking hours worrying about like progressing my career and my future. Just like, enjoy yourself. It's gonna pass anyways. You're gonna wake up and be 40, and like, maybe you wish you played fucking more RuneScape. Probably not, but maybe you did. I don't know. Yeah. But no matter what happens, man, your life's gonna pass you by. You're gonna wake up and be 90 one day. Like, I am 27, and I'm like, fuck, I was just 15.
Even more deep than that is not even the regret of not playing enough RuneScape, but the regret of having been unhappy during the times you played RuneScape.
Yes.
Like, why be unhappy during? It's like, you may as well.
And if you are, do something else.
Yeah,
right?
like you may as well just enjoy your life. You have one life, so just enjoy it.
I think I spent most of my
easier
life
said
not
than done,
enjoying it. Yeah, absolutely. Because I think I've spent most of my life not enjoying it.
Oh yeah.
And it's like even through anxiety and all of that stuff as well. And like, I'm kind of at the point where like I try and feel everything, right? Mm-hmm. Including the anxiety, including the sadness, like all that stuff, because it comes up. Like, life isn't perfect. Yep. You'll get anxious about something. You'll get sad about something. I just try and feel it all, and I find myself enjoying all of it. Like, even the sadness, I find like beauty in those moments, and the anxiety, I find the good parts of it, right? Like, because I'll be like a little tired, but I'm anxious. I'm like, well, I'm anxious, so I'm a little less tired. At least that's nice, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of it is just how you look at it. If you're coming at it from this point of view of like, fuck, I've got to do all this agility to get these staminas. It's something I really don't want to do. That's why that's the example. And I'm doing it right now. And during this podcast, I've gotten 100 fucking staminas.
Oh, that's good. Yeah,
and I've enjoyed every second of it. I'm just sitting here shooting the shit with you. I don't know how I'm doing, but I'm enjoying myself. So no, that's what matters.
This is the best time to be running rooftops is on a Sae Bae cast. I have
for sure.
The amount of agility XP I've gained over these casts, the amount of just random XP. Every single cast, dude, I'm doing some sort of skilling activity.
Yeah, so. I wasn't sure. Is your RSN just Sater?
No, it's Sae Bae. My Twitch name is Sater.
Yeah, well, that was a trip for me because I didn't know how to spell it. I accidentally hosted some dude with 2 followers who was not live.
Sadar, or what did you name me?
Sadar. Yeah, man. When you say it like that, now I feel dumb.
Yeah.
Sadar.
Yeah, that was horrible, dude. That was horrible of you.
Okay, well, my bad.
Yeah, Sae Bae is
fucking Cincy Bear did it to you too. Yeah, I just wanted to look you up.
No, if I'm comfortable with
shit,
if I'm comfortable enough with somebody, I will call them out, but I don't actually care.
Yeah, no, I didn't think you did, but here's the other thing. I think names are important. I want to, like, if I have trouble pronouncing somebody's name, I'll like look it up because I want people's names are important, and they're important to them as well.
Yeah.
Because I want to be spelling people's names right. I want it, like, all that stuff is important to me. So I was like a little embarrassed when I spelled it wrong, but I think the name changes happened while I was away. Or maybe like right after I'd come back in 2020 briefly, or like beforehand, and like I just wasn't used to it.
Yeah.
But I didn't fucking know how to spell it, Sater. I do now, but every time I spell it now, I kind of check myself a little bit.
No, you're good. Okay, I thought this was directed at Coxie. I thought this was in the wrong tweet, but Whale says, "How are you so good at cleaning herbs?"
Oh no, that is directed at me. Let me find it for you.
Okay.
This took me years to find. And I finally found it. Okay, so this is tweeted in 2020. I think this is when you were watching me. You probably recognize the background. This is on that.
You're so cute looking, dude.
I was a baby, dude. I hate these old clips. But if you turn the volume on it,
yeah,
you'll hear me take a deep breath in to get ready to just bust out these herbs because my clicks were sucking, so I tried to focus up.
I'm gonna listen to it real quick. Yeah, let's listen. That's called an end stream, my guy.
Yeah, it was not good.
That is so funny.
But so that one, that's a meme that gets referred back to a lot. And I think Whale was there, but like, I was so focused. I took the deep breath in, and I one tick log out. It was, wasn't my finest moment. Wasn't my worst moment either, though. To be fair.
Yeah. That's awesome.
But no, that's what he's referring to. I used to have that. So that was when I was on 1600 DPI. I think I might have been at 1200 then, but I think I had mouse acceleration on then. So, you see what it gets you. Don't use mouse acceleration, guys.
Don't use it. Don't do mouse acceleration, boys, and don't do drugs either. All right.
It's a gateway drug to plugins. So I'm so dumb.
It's just absolutely not, but yeah. All right. Jay asks, favorite and least favorite update since OSRS release?
Huh. I love Jay. It's previously Mod Wolf. It's no, I remember seeing that question. God, let me take a second on that if that's all right.
Well, yeah.
That's a tough question.
Been tons of updates.
I think my least favorite update is, and I wasn't even around during it, I hate this place, and I hate that there is a combat achievement for it, was Temporos. Because like I have to do that shit, or at least I did. I guess combat achievements have changed since then, but like I was like trying to get the hards to get the telly to God Wars. Temporos, I think it's awful. I think specifically like adding non-PvM challenges to combat achievements, which really, all things considered, that's pretty good. If that's my worst update, but maybe I'm forgetting about something. Best update though, that's a really tough one because I'm coming back to the game, right?
Yeah.
And all of this content that is out there, I'm just starting. It's like I have like 20 expert TOAs, and I just run them with my buddy Tommy, and sometimes with Lauren as well, with my buddy Lauren. And
just
I enjoy it. I'm hanging out with my friends. I'm having a good time.
Just say your favorite update is God Wars. Just say it. Just say your favorite old school update was God Wars Dungeon.
Listen to this, Sater.
Yeah, no.
I don't enjoy. Well, so God Wars was already out when I started playing, so I didn't even think about it.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I didn't think about it until like
anymore.
just a few seconds before I just mentioned it. So I was like, oh yeah, that wasn't out in original old school.
Yeah. No, I didn't play an old school where that existed, like where that world existed. I don't enjoy God Wars anymore. I'm fucking bored, dude. It's the same. I've done it so many times. I've done all of it. I've done everything there so many times, except for like the range methods.
But have you flicked Kriara yet?
Ages ago, yeah. Like it was Corporal Eric's method that he came up with of tick eating it, and then I saw like Zack doing it on his hardcore with the T-bow. I don't know that he was tick eating it. He might have been, but yes, I have. Yeah, no, I've been there, man. I've spent, I don't know, maybe thousands of hours in God Wars. And I don't enjoy it at all. But I think my favorite update might be the Theater of Blood.
Wow. Okay.
And I was on the testing team for that. They flew me out to Cambridge. Excuse me. They flew me out to Cambridge to test that update, like all expenses paid, everything.
That must have been how did you feel when you just got that invite?
It felt unreal. I can actually, let me see if I can go to my messages. Okay, here's another part of it though. This was after the falling out of me and Cloud. So Archie ended up pulling us into a group chat together on Twitter, like a group DM, and he was like, "Hey, we got to address this because both y'all, like, we asked who the best players are, and everybody's saying y'all. Are we good for this? Because we had the falling out, and there hadn't been really anything.
I'll be honest, I don't know of any falling out. I actually don't know the history. I know you mentioned it early in the podcast of something like that.
It's been so long that I don't want to air it a lot, but I also I want to be truthful about it. But like I don't think it's been so long. I don't think Cloud really would care, and he's not active either, as far as I'm aware. But yeah, no, like me and Cloud were playing together, and he had gotten frustrated over like me missing some footage from the Sarah record, and so to me, it looked like the account had gotten hacked, right? And it's like he wasn't like trying to recover it or give me the password, and like wasn't responding to anything. So I just like logged in the next day and like couldn't log in. And then he started responding to me and like wouldn't change the password. So I tweeted, I was like, "Fuck this, dude! Like everybody knows us." Like I'm tweeting, I'm like, "Cloud just changed the password and won't let me on the account. I don't know what to do." Because I had like stopped playing my other account. I had stopped playing my Iron Man to play this account. And he ended up letting me on. So when I got to that account, there was like, I don't know, maybe 50 to 100 mil on it. Like it had been cleared out, jewelry. I don't know what happened. Maybe hacked, something like that. And I made the vast majority of the money on it. That there was 2.7 bill on it. At the time, that was like a fucking lot. That was almost all max gear. Now that's like 10 bill. But that was almost all max gear. It was like a couple items we were missing. and I had made probably 2 bill of that. So I took exactly half. I took 1 point. It was like 2.7. I took like 1.3, just under half. Traded it to my brother, logged out, and never worried about that account again. But just so like I could make my start on like my Iron Man and like a new main and stuff like that. But I wanted to like be as fair as possible, even though I'd made more of the money. I didn't want there to be any sort of contention there. And he was unhappy, not with like me taking the money, but like with us like kind of falling out and me not wanting to play on it anymore. I'm like, well, dude, like if you're gonna lock me out of the account, I'm gonna go make my own account. Like I don't want to anymore. But we've talked over the years. We're completely good now. Like we went out to Cambridge, like had drinks together. It was great. Like I have nothing but love for Cloud. You know, eventually, especially when you're sharing an account like that, where it's you both mainly play that account, there's gonna be some contention and there was some drama, but like everything's fine. But like Archie actually pulled us into a DM just to make sure everything was good. He's like, I gotta address the elephant in the room. But prior to that, because we had both gotten invited, and I think it was kind of an afterthought. They were like, oh fuck, this might be an issue. So they reached out to us and it was good. But getting that invite, dude, it didn't feel real, right?
I heard they treat you there too. Like you get some like maybe nice restaurant. I don't know if they took you out to a nice
I went to a great restaurant with all the mods. I was talking earlier with you about before the cast started about like being nervous and stuff and having Mod Ash at that table.
Yeah.
I was sitting across from Mod Ed. I remember I made a joke about Hulk hands, and I'm not going to mention the other thing about it, but it was really funny, and I usually don't make funny jokes, so I will never forget that. Like I usually am not the guy that has like the whole table roaring with laughter, so that's like one of those special moments for me that I'll never forget.
I love that. That's awesome.
Yeah. You know, you get a good one every once in a while and you're like, fuck yeah, I'm going to remember that. Right. It's like the compliment you got when you were, I don't know, fucking
in middle
10 years
school
ago that you never forgot. Yeah.
I will never forget that one chick that said I looked good in middle school. The one time, like, damn.
I bet it still feels good to think about that too.
Oh yeah.
Of course
like that's the one thing that you just you know, if I'm just feeling hella down, like it's trying to like analyze the past of my, you know,
just pull out the picture of your wallet of like that day, you know.
I just think of that. I'm like, you know what?
Like the Wolverine meme looking at the picture.
One person cared. One person cared at one point, so that's all that matters. I'm fine now. Like I'm gonna pick myself up from my bootstraps again. Yeah.
And isn't that crazy? That's some resilience right there, man. Damn.
Yeah. But it's not the only time, but it's definitely the one that stuck out because it just never happens for guys.
No, it doesn't. And I will say, if I'm honest with you, I probably get it more often than the average guy. But it still means so much to me. Like I think about those things often. Yeah. Mm-hmm. When I am, you know, in those tough places trying to get myself out. But so at the end of that, I think it was that dinner. It was either that dinner or another dinner, another night. Archie comes up and he's like, "Hey, so we went under our spending limit. Got like I think a couple $100 extra. He's like, what do you guys want to drink?" And so I go over to Lake and Zulu, who are like the two of my closest friends at the time, still very close friends of mine. Just at the time, like we were very close, talking all the time, both of us. And they're like, we want. John was talking about strawberry fucking daiquiris all night long, right? And he's like, we want strawberry daiquiris, and so we each wanted 2. But they were too embarrassed to like go ask him, I guess, or like they didn't want to do it. So I was like, I had a couple. I was like, fuck it, I'll do it. So I walk up to Chris Archie, right? And I ask him with a straight face. He's like, so you guys decide? I'm like, yeah, we'll have 6 strawberry daiquiris. And I'll never forget this. He looks at me with like this, like the straightest face in the world. Like he's so fucking cold and serious. He's like, really? And I look at him like that, and like my face doesn't change at all. And I just nod my head. I'm like, yep. And he got us the 6 strawberry daiquiris. So me, Lake, and John and Zulu all had 2 strawberry daiquiris together that night. We got a little drunk afterwards, but yeah, no, like it was the great dinner, and then afterwards they went under budget, which, you know, they had the budget allocated, they got to use it. So we got the fucking free drinks. So shout out to you guys for paying the membership and getting me those strawberry daiquiris. I'll never forget that moment.
That is so funny, bro. Speaking of good drinks, oh wait. Yeah, you were there. You were at the hibachi place.
Yeah, I went to it all. Yeah. No, I took the picture of you, the Thurgo picture. Yeah, well, you were eating the muffin with the hat on. Yeah.
Dude, those Mount Fujis. They had this drink. Mount Fuji was it was like must have been like rum with some. It was almost like drinking horchata, like that Mexican drink that
Yeah.
just cinnamon kind of milk, kind of milky sort of flavor. But it was that. I mean, it tasted exactly like horchata, but like an alcoholic version.
Wow.
Bro,
Yeah. Fat Clouds had so many of them, dude.
I think I had 4 of them. I could
Uh-huh.
not stop. They were just so good.
And you don't drink either.
I hate alcohol. Like I hate it.
Yeah,
Like,
you don't drink.
No, but if I'm in a social setting with all the legends, we're sending.
Yeah,
it.
no, it's fun. It's fun.
But that did not taste alcoholic, and I was fucked up after that. Like, and it was crazy because I've always imagined, like, if I'm gonna get fucked up, I'm gonna be tasting this alcohol, and I'm gonna know that I'm getting wasted.
No, you had the sneaky drinks. I like the sneaky drinks. They're dangerous, though.
That was
They're dangerous.
Good. Me and Jake C were talking about it all week.
Yeah,
we need to go back and get that.
Fucking Fat Clouds kept asking us. Okay, real quick.
Yeah.
Do you know when this is coming out? Because I wanted to say welcome. Okay, maybe we'll wait. You'll have to cut this out then.
You just send it.
Welcome to base, dude. That's so fucking cool. We're waiting on the announcement. Hasn't happened yet, so you might have to cut this out. Welcome
You're good
to
because
I'm so happy to have you. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
We're chilling it. Yeah, welcome to base, dude. Like it's in my opinion, it's the coolest community in RuneScape.
No, it is.
Like the stuff that base is doing is great. Like this year is going to be unreal.
The amount of, I've already given them so many shout outs, but I've always resisted joining organizations just because I've had bad experiences in the past with joining things where my name is now branded on something, or they make bad decisions and now I look bad, even clans and stuff, just things like that. I'm just always kind of hesitant. And I had been hesitant on joining Based for years. I had been asked, and I'm like, nah. Like, I love you guys. Like, but anyway. But
it's a commitment.
They've invited me to all the events. I always go.
We love you.
Absolutely, just everyone's a sweetheart. Everyone's kind as hell, and I just have a good time every time. And Prison Joe reached out to me just a couple weeks ago, and he's like, "Okay, man, like, are we gonna make this official?" By the way, there was no pressure. There was no pressure. He was asking me.
No, I know but I know Joe. So I know exactly. How it was phrased. Yeah.
So he was totally cool. Just invited me again. I'm like, hell yeah, let's just send it because
I think so. There's not a better. I get that as well, and it is kind of a brand now.
It is now, you're right.
Like I just randomly got fucking invited one day. I didn't know what it was. I'd never been part of a stream team, anything like that. But Whale invited me, and Whale's my dude, right? I love Whale to death, especially after meeting him. But I've always loved Whale. Always been a big fan. And I was just like, let's pull up the DMs. Let's get the actual answers here. We'll get the real good stuff while we're here. No, we DM too much.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, how far back are you gonna have to look?
Oh, here we go. You said you've been cordially invited to join the base Discord server, King. And I said, I will kiss you. I had no fucking idea what he was talking about. And so I just joined it. I had no idea what it was. Didn't know most of the people in there. I got to know most of them pretty well. But like, I think I knew Lopsy and. At the time, BF Rocket had just gotten invited. I know him, Lopsy, and Whale, and that was it. So I didn't know what was going on. I was very scared. I'm nervous around people, and I couldn't be more lucky to be a part of Base. Like I don't know why they wanted me or why I got invited, but it was actually, I do know the story of why I got invited. But they're doing things that nobody else is doing. And in a section that you would never expect something like this from, right?
It's just cool because, before this, nothing was no organized events, no truly organized events were really happening on such a big scale, getting people from all across the country and sometimes internationally, just all together. And on top of it, like, it's not like I have a bunch of friends in real life that I used to have friends when I was in like high school and college, but those years are past. So my friends are online, and having like actual close friends that I've got to meet in person several times now it really is a treat. And it's like, it means way more now to me than it would have. Like having like an actual meetup with people that I really care about is just amazing. So
You ride a high for a little bit afterwards, don't you? I'm still on it.
I always ride a low afterward. I'm just like so depressed I'm not there again. I'm like,
okay, so immediately afterwards, yes. But then I got like super motivated, and I was like, dude, that was like, when I really think about it, that was one of the coolest things that I've ever been a part of. Yeah. Like top 2 testing was up there without a doubt. Like what an experience to be able to get to do that. I think one of the coolest things about that is that like many of us made multiple suggestions, but some of the suggestions that me and other people made are in the game today. Because we went out there and did that shit.
Oh, so you're the reason the game is dying.
Okay, Nilo didn't have a fucking.
The game
boss.
Is actually. Did you?
Nilo didn't have a boss, dude.
Did you hear that? Old School is actually at its top average play count of all time right now.
I saw the graph I think it was yesterday or the day before. I saw that graph on Twitter. Yeah,
but yeah, you did mention to me. I think we had talked previously, or maybe it was even with somebody else that was at that. Oh, who was it?
Well, Adam was there.
No, it wasn't him. Oh, actually, it might have been him who was talking about it, actually. But I'm trying to... I think it was somebody else. Might have been Lake.
Yeah,
actually, it might have been
Lake
Curtis.
Was there too. Yeah, no, Curtis was there.
It was so Curtis
cool
was talking about it.
I like Curtis a lot, man.
Curtis is awesome. He's so
really
awesome.
fucking cool, dude. Yeah. Yeah, I asked him to buy him a beer. I was like, do you want a beer? Well, because I was grabbing him while I was up. And he was like, no, I'm good. I'm like, you sure? And he's like, yeah, no, I've never had one. I was like, wait.
He's
really?
Too wholesome. He's too wholesome.
And he was like, I think he was worried that I would think it was like weird or whatever. And I was like, that's really cool. Like, imagine going back and never having a beer. Right? I think it's cool. You know, it's like, I've already had the beer. I'm going to have more. But like, I thought it was really cool. And Curtis, very, very cool guy.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah, pleasure to meet him.
It must have been from him because I think they were talking about just all the changes you guys were suggesting and how Tob was not even like apparently testing Tob and then actually doing it. There were a lot of changes that were made post.
It was not completable the first day that we tested it. The second day they modified it was the P1 Berserk, like you couldn't get past the pillars. So they modified some of that stuff, some of the bonuses or whatever. I'm sure they dialed it in after, but I know we were able to, actually do the things. But like Nilo, I think they were all 1 HP, and it was just crabs, just the little spiders, right? There was no boss.
1 HP is so much better.
I
love one shot stuff.
I 100% agree, especially with the changes with accuracy where you hit a 1 if you hit a 0 now. Or if you roll a 0.
Yeah.
But there was no boss, man. Like imagine Nilo Room and it's just done with no. I don't know. I feel it feels incomplete without that. Yep. And so that was like one of the suggestions that we made. And I was like, yeah, I feel like at the end, like the pillars should like start shaking, and then they should like fall, and the boss will fall from the above or something like that. I don't know how they implement it or whatever, but just to be a part of that process and then see it in game afterwards is really cool. And I think that's a part of why Top is one of my favorite pieces of content in the game. It's because I was part of it, right? Not a big part of it, but I had a little part to play in it, and that was pretty cool to be invited to that and be a part of that.
That's dope. I really hope they do more of those kind of like send out creators, get to test things again now that COVID's all passed.
Yeah, I mean they have been, right? I think TOA they did, right?
Yeah, but it seems to always just be local, just like whoever's kind of close. I wish they would fly out some Americans out there.
I get it.
What I'm trying to say is send me out there.
Too.
Pay for my plane ticket. Pay for my accommodation. Send me out there. I want to go out there. That's what I'm trying to say.
Genuinely, I think you're a fantastic person to go out there.
Thank you.
Because like when I went out there, like this was after I burnt the first time. Like I wasn't really playing at the time. My clicks weren't great. I've got a cool picture of me playing, and I've got Mod Aiza, Mod Archie, and Mod Curse over my shoulder, like staring, like fixated on my gameplay. And I remember afterwards, like, dude, I can, like, I'm sure it looked cool, but like compared to my prior self when I was, one ticking 10 ways and shit like that, I felt kind of washed and like I didn't belong there. But I think you, especially with where you're at now and your game knowledge and understanding of mechanics and like how things get OP and stuff like that, and also with like just enjoying the game, right? Like making something enjoyable. I think you'd be a great choice to go out there. I think I would no longer have any part in something like that, but somebody like you, I think makes sense.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Friend Zones asks, what are some hobbies outside of the game that you have?
So the most recent time I quit, I'll try and be as short-winded about this as possible. Most recent time I quit, I was with a woman, really excited about that. Was really into it, and so I quit. And then I tried to like we broke up, and I had to find a hobby, right? I had to find something. I tried to play
Anything but
RuneScape.
RuneScape.
Well, no, I tried RuneScape. I missed you
Oh, but
guys so much. I
you were
missed this
totally
community,
burnt, though.
and I hated it. I tried again and again, and like I couldn't even get through a farm run, like an herb run.
Yeah.
I didn't even make it through the whole thing. I was like skipping teleports and stuff to finish it. And so I actually no, I hated it.
You're like, surely the game won't know that I'm cheating my farm run, right? It's so stupid. Yeah, that's great.
No, I just like wouldn't grab the teleports from the bank.
Yeah, that's
like
great.
the Catherby one. I just didn't grab because I didn't want to do it.
I never do farm runs anymore, so I feel that.
Yeah, I'm jealous of that. I still need to do them, but
I will need to do them. It's
at some point
catching up.
PvMing. Yeah. But so I had to find something, and so I started painting. And I've shared a couple of my paintings on Twitter, actually. If you want me to pull some of them up,
pull your best one up. Let's see it.
I'll pull. It's my 5th painting, and it's my first self-portrait. Because it was the first painting I did where I was like, "Yeah, man, like this. Like it did something to me, like emotionally. Like, it felt like I don't even know how to say this. Like it felt good for my soul to be painting and to like be getting, that out there. And it was kind of an emotional painting for me. It's a painting of like me during an anxiety attack, right? And it felt almost like healing to get that out there and express myself through that.
I can't remember because I remember you showing me some of these. I have this pulled up, by the way, but I remember you showing me some of these in Orlando.
Yeah,
one of them was like that psychedelic. So, do you have that one?
Yeah. Let me. I think I tweeted that one too. Yep.
Let me see that one.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I call it Vessel. I figured you'd like the name.
Yeah, this is dope.
I like that one a lot. Yeah, but like the 5th painting, the difference between those two is like that's when I first started to like actually improve, I think, and get a little better. And I got a lot better in that painting. I still don't like know how to blend or anything, but so painting's a hobby of mine. With me getting back into RuneScape and all that, I'm not doing it so much. But I'm looking for another hobby. I just bought Ableton, and I'd like to learn how to produce. And then even if like that doesn't work out for me, I'd love to learn how to mix and be able to like make cool mixes. I've always wanted to do that for my streams. Like with like hardstyle, some of it's so awful to listen to, man. It like it hurts your ears. Like some of Zandy's streams, man. I'm like, oh, I like. Somebody rated him the other day, and I got in there, and I was like, Jesus Christ, I have to turn this to like 8% volume.
Yeah.
But I want to make a mix where you remove all that and just have that euphoric, beautiful hard style. I think it'd be awesome.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be my next hobby, but I need more hobbies. But yeah, I do have a couple outside of it. And thank you for the question, Prince. I'm a big fan. I think he also asked if I would kiss him, but you didn't say that.
Yeah, well, there was no question mark, so I'm kidding.
That's fair. Yeah, not an actual question.
I'm kidding. So, what's the answer?
I'll think about it.
All right, playing hard to get.
Yeah, I try to.
All right, let's see. What are your current? This is coming from Swift Lil Eagle. What are your current long-term goals, both in-game and IRL?
First off, we love Swift Eagle. In-game. So my main thing, I was locked by the BOFA, and then it's for those of you who don't know, I just got a twisted bow at like 200 KC. Saved myself about 400 hours. Literally, yeah. No, I spent everything on this account, man. I got a rock golem at 91 mining the other day from Amethyst. I've been boosting to make Amethyst arrows for this T-bow. Big spoon, but it's kind of unlocked the account for me, right? Mm-hmm. Like I was kind of locked to BOFA, but with a T-bow, I don't have to get one now. Mm-hmm. At least not. I don't have to.
You can just you can relax on it. You can just go for it.
Passively. Like I haven't gone back to CG since I got that. But God, I don't know. Like a T-bow was one of my biggest goals on the account. I've got my goals from 2017 when I made the account in my Twitch bio, and I've almost completed them after getting the T-bow. I think the last one I have is completing God Wars, which I just need Armadillo and like a couple random items. I think at this point I start going for mega rares, and I go for like a scythe, and I'm not super worried about the shadow, but I would say a scythe, and then I want to go for soul pet and Zuck pet. I think that would make me think that would get me up to speed, make me a much better player, and like kind of get me with the times. And then I like at this point, like with all like my gear's great. I'm enjoying the game so much. I just want to get good at the game. I want to get good again. I want to like return to my former self in some ways at least. So I'm not really thinking about items so much as I am about just playing the game, enjoying the game, doing new content.
Yeah, no.
As far as you go ahead. Yeah.
I was gonna say going for a nibbler pet and the soul pet is definitely gonna just boost everything. I mean,
yeah, that'll bring it to another level, right? If I'm consistently going for that, I do want the scythe for the soul pet. But,
do you think you would try like again? This is on an Iron Man. Would you try to speed run the Infernos while you do it?
Absolutely. I'm already starting to get a little faster. Like I'm PBing every time. I have a twisted bow now, so like I want to be going for that GM time ideally.
Yep, hell yeah.
I'd have to like hunt chins and figure out what the fuck I'm doing first. But no, yeah, I absolutely want to be speed running. I think that'll make me a much better player. I enjoy the Inferno a lot, and I enjoy watching speed. I love watching Addy, Stugex do speed runs, and so I want to get to that point in the game. I want to be gaming. I want to be gaming hard. You know, doing cool stuff again. I think that'd be really cool.
What about IRL?
Yeah. So yeah, IRL. God, I just I want to get some more hobbies. I want to look into the music production thing. I own Ableton. I paid the $400 fucking or whatever for it like 6 months ago, and I haven't touched it. So I want to do that.
That sounds very similar to me. They said it wasn't 400. This shit was like 800 almost. I feel like
Jesus Christ.
About 8 years ago. Yeah, I think it's because I just bought like all the like samples with it and everything. So.
Oh yeah, so no, I bought Serum too. So it was like $550 or something like that. But so I want to do that. I just started. We talked about this earlier. I just started going back to the gym. It's been about 3 weeks now, and I feel so fucking good, Sater. Like just walking around, I feel good. I stretch as well, so I like notice myself like I'm standing taller. My back doesn't hurt so much. All that stuff. I want to spend this year getting healthier, and doing things that are good for me, and doing things that I enjoy. And also, like, you can do something you enjoy without enjoying it, right? Like, you can go play RuneScape and have a bad time. You can go play Counter-Strike and have a bad time, or you can enjoy yourself doing it. Like, it's a lot of it's mindset. And so I want to enjoy the things I'm doing, regardless of what they are. I would say that's my biggest goal for IRL this year.
Yeah, and enjoying the things that truly are like a healthy, good, long-term thing to have, like such as working out. If you're enjoying working out, oh my God, you're in such a good space. You're miles ahead of the average person if you're enjoying
And I just got
yourself.
there.
Yep, that's amazing.
I used to love it, man. I mean, like I had the mind-muscle connection, all of that. But I've just gotten back there. Like the first couple weeks getting back into it, especially when you're hurting, your back hurts, all that stuff, and you're stretching it out and all that. They're tough. And like you don't really enjoy that burn yet. And I'm just starting to love it again. And I'm really excited to see where that goes. It'll be cool to look better. But it'll be great to feel better.
Yes. Cool. Yeah, good luck on. I mean, you're with me when it comes to just finding new hobbies and stuff. Like,
yeah,
I feel like I'm such a boring person, and
what
that's
makes
just
you
all.
Say that?
It's just all a mindset thing. Like, I know that's not actually the case, but it's just comparing myself to other people that just seem to be doing things. Like just going on trips and stuff and doing weird, crazy activities like every weekend. And I'm sitting here like, time to go for my bike ride again. Time to go back and play RuneScape and, host a little podcast. But no, ultimately, like, I don't know. I'm excited. I just turned 29. So in my 30s, that's when,
oh shit.
I just want to like be more, just a little bit more adventurous, just take more risks and stuff. Cause
I like that.
I'm definitely not a risk taker for the most part.
Me neither, man. Trying to stream full time was the scariest fucking thing I've ever done in my life. And for a good reason. It should be scary. It's inconsistent and all of that. 1 month I make like $4,000. I'm thinking great. Next month I make $700. I'm like, I got to figure something else out. Life of a streamer. Like that was the biggest risk not one of the biggest risks I've ever taken. And I don't regret it for a second. And when I had that thought, even though like it didn't, like I'm not still streaming full time. So you could say it didn't work out, but I also just got back from Orlando with Based, where like the podcast paid for the Airbnb with 26 people, 26 RuneScape players from all over the world there. Like to be a part of that now, like I don't regret a thing about that, right?
We touched on this a little bit. I kind of shared
Okay.
a couple of my ideas, but I want to hear from you. So Slivel asks, ask him how he would design a new God Wars
Yeah.
dungeon boss. Did you have any suggestions?
Honestly, this is one I struggled with because I should have something, right?
Yeah. I mean, mine was just like pimp them out and raise their range and mage, so you have to melee them. But that's so basic.
So I was, I whenever you brought that up, I thought of an Awakened version. You know, bring back God Wars. I don't know. I think that would be cool.
That's actually a possibility, and that, I mean, that's all they would really need to do is just raise the damage output, so you're forced to flick in a way.
Yes, make the minions very accurate. Yeah, they don't have to hit that hard, but if they're accurate, dude, and you're not flicking them, if they're twice as accurate as they are now, you're gonna be fucked up 10 seconds into the kill.
Yeah, I mean, when you think of Awakened bosses from DT2, I mean, if you're doing Awakened Vardorvis, those axes hit high 90s. It's just like
I haven't done it yet. I didn't realize they hit that high. Jesus Christ.
You make one mistake, you're getting comboed out 90-45, something wild.
Well, honestly, you could make it hit that hard. I just don't know like what people would want. I'd be okay with it hitting everything hits max, you know, but most people probably wouldn't feel that way. Yeah. But I think Awakened bosses would be cool. I don't know how you'd go about that. And the other thing with it is with the Awakened, at least Vardorvis is the only one I'm familiar with. I just started DT2 bosses, and that's the main one I'm going for the whatever the ring is with the strength bonus. But it adds mechanics in as well, right? Like, so there's an extra flick you've got to do, the Awakened.
It would even be cool. Like, imagine this. Imagine you have, like, so, you know, you enter, you're looking at the Grardor door, and you can right click and say Awakened, and maybe you have to sacrifice something to get in there, and you just got, and it's gonna.
Oh, I just got an idea. I'll wait. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's going back to what I was saying, where it's just like Grardor now has like 5 or 10x the HP that it normally does, and the minions are going to be way more powerful, or just more accurate, or whatever, and so you're forced to prayer flick, but it's still basic Bandos. But on top of that, there is a phase that's kind of like Muspa. I don't know if you've killed Phantom Muspa yet, but
a little bit,
phase.
Yeah, I just got my
So now toward the end of the fight, you now have a smite phase where you have to be smiting Bandos as well. So you got the 3 prayers as well.
I love that because I already smite flick there, just as like a weird flex or whatever. It's fun.
Yeah. And you got that too. And then
I like that a lot because you could work that in.
Oh yeah, especially if you have a 5-tick
especially with
weapon.
a scythe.
Yeah,
it'd be piss easy, dude.
Yeah,
I mean, I've been doing it with 4-tick weapons. It'd be harder to work in there. You're not gonna get it every hit. But with a 5-tick weapon, I like that a lot actually. Yeah. And I don't like the smite phase, but
I do like the smite phase. I like that you can skip the smite phase. I wish it was more.
So what is that? Sapphire bolts and Zerite crossbow.
Well, the way you skip it is by you just hit a high. Well, now you have a T-bow, so you can skip it here and there.
Okay, but I'm curious now.
Yeah, basically, you just try to hit. There's like a certain way to like hit it where it's summoning that final blow before the smite phase, and if you hit it twice with the T-bow at a certain tick, if you hit it big enough, which is like a 1 in 25 chance with max gear, probably like every like 25 kills you might get a skip. Maybe 20.
No, that's not bad. Yeah,
but you get it and you feel great.
I'll go back there.
You feel great.
Yeah,
it's just like you skip. That
okay. I do like that. Now that I've got, and a lot of stuff is like kind of gear locked, which the T-bow has opened up the game for me. As far as like speed running things as well. Where I'm at in the game right now is the most excited I've ever been to play RuneScape, which is crazy.
And well, you do have a T-bow too, so that just makes everything like a little bit more spicy. Just exciting.
So it was like even before the T-bow, the only thing I didn't want to do was CG. But like I was just hitting up all the raids, doing exactly what I wanted to do in the game, except for the CG. Now that I have the T-bow, I'm doing exactly what I want to be doing. I've got hundreds or thousands of hours of fun content in front of me. Like I'm at the best point I could possibly be at in my account. I'm having so much fun playing RuneScape right now, man. It's great.
Okay, this actually just threw me back because I do remember something like this being tweeted out. But Dave asks, any tips on picking up Sarah Hilt?
Oh, fuck me, dude.
Can you
I hate this one.
There's a clip of this, right?
Yeah, I deleted the shit out of it.
Dude, this is actually memorable. Can you just walk us through like what happened exactly?
Okay, so I'm on the hardcore Iron Man, right?
Okay. How long ago
My
was
streams
this?
have been 2018,
Okay.
something like that. My streams have been tanking because I've been doing mid-level hardcore Slayer. I'm playing 10 to 12 hours a day. My mental's in the bin. My viewers keep going down, partially probably because of my mental and my attitude, my effort, and all of that, right? And I don't care about the numbers, but what I like about streaming is sitting there and like having an active chat that I can talk to. I love just talking to my friends and playing video games. Like that's what I want to do. Fuck, sorry, Sater, I forgot where I was going with that. What was
The Sarah Hilt. Sarah Hilt. So
okay,
you said
yeah,
you were doing Slayer. And then,
so I had finally gotten to some piece of content that was back to my roots. It was the stuff that like I got partnered doing the stuff. I mean when I got partnered, I was the highest viewed affiliate in the section. Like I was doing cool stuff. People loved watching it. So I'd gotten back there. I was really happy. I was on Conduit at the time. My screenshot key was Shift and F2. F2 is also my prayer book. So I went to go change my prayers, and I couldn't change them because I was taking a screenshot of the Sarah Hilt. I'd had the Sarah Hilt drop at like 345 KC. I'm killing the minions with a rune crossbow with broad bolts. It takes 3 kills to kill a minion, right? To kill all of them and get the bones. And so I take the screenshot, and then because I can't click the prayer book with my F2 because I'm screenshotting, I go up to click on it, and the spot directly below the prayer book is where my seed pod was. So I clicked my teleport, and I'm like sitting there still smiling.
I can imagine your face right now because I saw that.
Because I don't fucking realize what's happened yet. I don't care that I made the mistake. I think it's really, really funny. But like the part about me that I hate about this story is people thought that I faked it for views.
Yep.
And you want to know what happened? Afterwards, my views went from like, I think I had like 79 viewers because I was doing pretty good that day because I was doing Sarah Hilt God Wars on the hardcore, right? To like 97 for about 45 minutes of like the 20 people talking shit to me. And then it went back down to 70. And I'm like, dude, if I was going to fake something to gain viewership, I'd hope I'd execute a little better than that.
It was not fake. So, yeah, I'm imagining.
I mean, you know that because you know me, but like I get it as well. Watching it back, like I get it. That's why it's so tough.
I'm just imagining the clip again just to like illustrate a little bit better for those that don't know. It's like Reed gets his hilt. He's like, oh, yeah, hell yeah. There it is, boys. Like, there it is. And then he just fucking seed pod tellies out.
One tick tellied. I took the screenshot and I tellied.
But here's the thing. Your face, you couldn't believe it. Like, you did like that deep swallow. Like, oh, God. Like, what have I done? Like, what the fuck? Like, why did I
Dude, I was in shock. I had never done anything so dumb before.
No, so that's why it was not fake. Because it was so... It would be so hard to fake a reaction like that. Just, oh my God, like what the fuck just happened?
And not only that, I'm a terrible actor. I'm bad at like lying, pretending to be anything but myself. If I tried to fake that, you would know if you know me.
Yeah.
It'd be really bad. But that's the part that I hated about it. I like obviously like the day ones, the people that knew me were very supportive. They're like, we know you didn't fake this. And I get it. I'm really good at Sarah Dahmen. That doesn't mean I want to be there. Like, yeah, my viewers went up a little bit, but I finished Sarah Dahmen, then I get to the Inferno. That was my main goal on the account was the Infernal kit. But yeah, that's probably like my most embarrassing thing that's happened in RuneScape. Or I guess on Twitch, I should say.
That's so funny. Classic. But yeah, you're always going to deal with that. I mean, they still deal with it on Behemoth channel. Like, talking to people running Behemoth, they're just like, yeah, the whole comment section, just people flaming people for fake reactions or overdone reactions. Like, it's just like people's favorite pastime if they're chronically online. It's just judging people's reaction clips. Great.
Yeah, I bet they're really happy doing that.
Oh, they are. They're life fulfilled.
Yeah,
life
right.
Aspirations fulfilled. Shep Boy RD asks, how is Reed so hot? Will he go on a long romantic walk on the beach with me? Does he love me back? Will we get married? Please. You got a lot of like
how do I even
people
answer
courting
this?
you, it seems like, in the
yeah, the e-boys love me, dude. The e-boys love me. I'm not gonna answer the first one. That feels so weird. Shout out my mama, I guess. I like walks. So one of the things that I like a lot about like getting back into shape is I used to hate walking. Just I didn't enjoy it. And like I'll just go for a walk in the sun and walk around and enjoy it and not feel tired, and it's fantastic. I'd love to go on a walk with you, Shep. That'd be fantastic.
You can invite me too. I want to go on a walk.
I didn't think you were mentioning that question, but anyways, what was the third part of that question, Sater? Oh, that's
Does
cool.
he love me
What was
back?
the third part of that? Yeah, Sater, I'd love to go on a walk with you, man. That'd be great.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm just avoiding all the questions. Of course, I love Jeff. Of course, I do.
I was gonna say like I just got a little quiet.
I avoided the first question, so I had to swing the second avoid in there too.
That's awesome.
Oh man.
Okay, Reed, we're gonna probably wrap things up, and we've been
I think
talking
we're done
for
with the questions
for like 2.5 hours, and this has been great, man. I know it must have been a year ago or so when we were kind of like in DMs together, kind of like, okay,
I remember
like,
this.
When's the Reed Sae Bae cast? And listen, you're not the only person. I told you this in Orlando. Like I feel this is the kind of stuff that keeps me up at night. Is I'm really bad at being organized with guests, especially with the casts. So I just have like handfuls of people that I've, kind of lightly said, yeah, I'll get you on the cast like soon.
Yeah.
And it just, I forget as nothing's planned out. And ultimately I've probably like created some new haters that are just like, fuck this guy. He said he'd get me on.
That's their issue. That's their issue. I've never worried about it. So I think it was actually Swift Eagle was the first person who was like, when are you going on Sae Bae cast? Because I was talking about you and about your stream, and like we talked about this earlier about like you and Whale, and like how I'm proud. It's really cool to see. And he was like, you should go on there, and I was like, dude, I don't belong there. Like, I'm so washed. Like, what would we even talk about? Well, but then it was him, I think Pofflebopper as well, which is the name I don't see often mentioned. Like, dude, you guys could talk about so much stuff, like how the game has changed, the clients, like everything, like old God War, like there was so much, and I was like, actually, yeah. And I think this is stuff that Sater would want to talk about.
Yep.
And so that's when I approached you. And at that time it wasn't a thing, but it's been an honor to be here. I was extremely nervous about this, and I had a fantastic time. Within a couple minutes, everything was great.
I love that. That's always nice to hear,
dude. No, I feel so comfortable on here. Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure. To anybody who decided to listen, thanks for checking it out. This is like one of the coolest things I think that's going on RuneScape YouTube is the podcast with so many people from the community and so many people involved. So to be a part of it was a pleasure. Thank you, Sater.
I appreciate it, and the pleasure is all mine. Guys, down in the description, we're gonna have Reed's links, his Twitch and his Twitter. And I can't remember. Do you upload on YouTube?
Don't even worry about it. The Bandos record is on there. Every once in a while I throw a clip.
Okay.
No, it doesn't. I wouldn't worry about the YouTube. Yeah, unless you want to watch the Bandos record, if you want to see.
Well, I'll put it down.
That method. Yeah. I mean, I walked in the room with all super combats and one Samfuse serum, and I emptied the Samfuse serum. Like it was a cool thing that I kind of came up with to last forever. You just go off the altar. So if you want to check that out, I'd love that. But don't feel like you need to subscribe or anything like that. And thank you for the shout out, Sater.
Everyone must subscribe. No, but I'll have all the links down there. But lastly, Reed, I'm going to ask you for a few shout outs from the community. So do you have any in mind? I know I just put. So
you want me to shout people out?
Yeah.
Brett Dog.
Hell yeah!
Besides you, the newest member to base. I always go on his stream. And because I'm fairly new to watching him, and I say like I think I had a couple, and I was like back at my place afterwards, like sitting on my couch waiting to pass out, and I pulled up his stream, and he's just the nicest guy in the world. I'd heard about him, but I'd never watched his stream, and I said I just said in the chat, I fucking love this guy, and he like I always felt that way since. Like to get him in base is really a cool thing. Shout out to you, man. I'm so incredibly proud of everything you've done. You're doing stuff that nobody else is, and that's pretty exciting. And I'm sure I have more people, but I'm just gonna shout out Whale. Like Whale has always supported me from day one. He's always been. There are a lot of people online that are not really good influences in your life, and Whale has always been that for me. I don't think he probably realizes that, but if he decides to watch this, then he will. Love Whale to death.
He must watch this. Yeah.
Couldn't be happier that he's in my life. And this community as a whole, like none of this would be possible. This is such a cool experience that I'm able to be on here right now. Like that I'm able to like a lot of people be like going out and shit on a Saturday night or whatever, and I'm here talking about RuneScape on a podcast, and like it sounds like I'm like saying that in a bad way. This is the coolest thing in the world. So shout out the community that makes this exist, because it wouldn't without the community.
I'll second that shout out the community.
Yeah, no, I know how you feel about it. Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you for having me on, Sater. It's been a pleasure, brother.
Thank you, guys. If you want to support the cast, down in the description there is a YouTube link and a Patreon link that you can support and get your name on the title screen. But there's been a lot of support lately, so I greatly appreciate you guys' pledges. Also, go follow Reed down in the description. And also next week, we're going to be getting Tasty Life from YouTube and T Papa on the cast simultaneously for a duo cast. That'll be happening next Thursday. So go follow me on Twitch or on Twitter, and you can offer some topics for that cast. Should be really fun. Get an inside scoop again on some behemoth stuff, what goes down underground. So, yeah, look forward to that. And thank you again, Reed, and everybody.
Absolutely.
Have a great rest of your night. Peace.